Come on, come on. There we go. There we go. There we go. We are live. We are up. We are ready. We are ready. Um, yeah. Star Wars is in a whole pickle coming up, but yeah. I don't know. Apparently, there's going to be a lot of talks about the next episode that's coming out for this show, and
I heard about that.
yeah, it's kind of dicey, right? It's kind of scary to see that there's a huge possibility that Star Wars itself can like leave the history behind and go on to something new.
Everybody is being really
hard about it.
Yeah, it's not that serious.
Yeah. Fictional characters. Fictional characters.
What the fuck was that?
Boys. That was from a movie. I forgot what movie it was though. Fictional characters. I forgot. What is up? Welcome back. It's Sunday night. You're here with the Average Boys podcast, and I am joined here by Nico and our boy Brian D. Brian, Nico, how you guys doing? How's you guys' weeks, baby?
What's going on? What's going on?
I feel like it's been forever already.
Really? I'll take like a week off where I'll be working a week and then I'll come back like 2 weeks. You'll be like, yo, bro, I feel like I haven't seen you in like 2 months, bro.
It's more than enough. It's because you live like a million miles away from us. You know what I mean? It's a different culture down here where we're used to seeing everybody like almost like, you know, you're just driving down the street. You know what's really crazy? Okay.
That sounds extremely annoying. I'm sorry to say.
Why? Because it's so small or what?
Yeah, like I don't want to see like what all right, what if you're trying to duck someone and you can't.
Oh no, yeah, you're running into those.
Oh yeah, you can't. You cannot do that here.
Damn. That's like
we never get like those like I mean not even like I'm not gonna say it like that, but we never get like those serial killer moments because like you'll end up running into a motherfucker so fast. Like there's no one hiding from no one down here. The only thing
you guys have never had a serial killer down there in the valley ever.
We had so going back in history, we had the I think we talked about this once. I think I told you the Mark Kilroy incident in Brownsville, right?
Wait, what happened?
The Mark Kilroy incident. Mark Kilroy.
Yeah. What did Mark do, bro?
So Mark went to go party during spring break back in the 80s in Matamoros in Mexico. And he was being courted by a female who kind of got him involved in this community that all do brujeria and all this like black magic.
Yeah, see, that's the reason why you got to watch what you do out there, bro, because like you might have a secret witch on your ass, bro. But
yeah, dude, it's nuts, dude. It was a scary.
Look, you'll never know. She'll just put some witch shit on you, bro. I get it.
So what happened was this chick was involved with like a bigger cult, and shit. Yeah. So what happened was he went over there for spring break. They all came back. So they back in the day, you used to be able to just walk across, you know, right on the border towns. You can get like a bunch of great stuff because it's all tourists, like people trying to make money. So you can even go get like even still today, you can go do like your dentistries. You can go get medical equipment. I mean, fuck, if you want to lift weights and get steroids, like all that shit's there on the corner.
Yeah.
But like during that time in Brownsville, it was a big party spot because of UT Brownsville, right? The university. So during spring break, people would just walk across, party out, and then come back. So this guy went with his homies, partied out, came back, and then was like, I mean, he was a little bit more than halfway across the border. And he was like, hey, guys, you know what? I got to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. And he took off back, and he never came back. Never came back.
I'm talking about like all right. So what happened? What eventually came?
So
of this?
He ended up.
Sounds like some fucking folklore fiction shit that you tell your fucking kids to not go to. Don't
go to the border and
not go to Mexico and shit like that. Like, what are you talking about?
He ended up getting picked up, I guess, by the cult. He ended up getting like taken out to like they had this ranch, and when they found his body, it was like dismembered and cut up, and it was put in a barrel just like boiling. And they ended up finding like 27 to like 30 people's bodies, like in this small, like basketball sized court ranch. And even how they found him, because he was just missing. They didn't know how to find him. And they found two like little like 5 foot tall Mexican dudes like fucking just working on the corner that were part of the cult. And they picked these 2 dudes up, and they were so like in this cult, they're very much minded that they're protected by El Santa Muerte, the angel of death.
Okay.
So, but the cop guy was so fucking frustrated with these guys. Like he was not having any of their bullshit. He tells him, he goes, we're looking for this young man. He's an American. And you're going to tell us where he is. And the guy goes, well, we're protected. We don't got to tell you shit. And the guy pulls his gun out and fires it right next to his ear. And everyone, like all the other cops, like grab this. It was like a fucking Die Hard movie moment, right? And it scared the shit out of these 2 guys, and they were like, "Oh, okay, cool. Like, we'll take you. So they took him to the site, which is, like I said, it was just a ranch, and it had like a little fence around it with a little shed. And he goes, "Okay, well, where's the body buried?" And the guy just literally said, "Well, which one?" And then that's when they brought all the cops, and they made it into a huge thing. They uncovered like a fuckload of bodies. They uncovered so many bodies. And then when they found Mark Kilroy, he was like in a big oil bucket, like just in juice, like his own juices, like his shit was all burned up.
Yeah.
Hey, Brian, just out of curiosity, now that you brought this up, what are some of the folklores that I guess parents tell you guys growing up over there?
I mean, I grew up in a black household, so I can't speak for everyone and all the things that are being told. But for me, we don't really do folklore shit like that.
Okay, well, I guess just warning.
Yeah. Outside of like the Santa Claus and the regular shit, we don't have stories like that, which I think is kind of special for everyone else. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So over here, our parents just get the shit out of us. Like they're not gonna come up with some elaborate fucking reason as to why you shouldn't be doing this. You just say no or get the fuck out of here or whatever.
Okay. Well, what about affiliations or like, I don't want you to pass this certain street or at a certain time, or you can't wear these colors or stuff like that. How about that?
If I would see that it's from like my friend's culture, like from like my friend's household or something like that. So I grew up with like a lot of Hispanic friends, right? So like I hear some of those things, but in my culture, dude, we don't really have many of those. Like unless I'm thinking of like what do you call them, like scary stories, like shit like that. But other than that, nothing like to scare us from doing something. Nah, not really. We would either just do it or get scared.
So where you're from, there are no like, you can't rock these certain colors, or you can't wear this certain baseball cap, or a certain team, or you can't pass this certain street without getting checked in.
Oh, that's like street stuff though, right?
Yeah, like you guys don't even,
that's normal regular street shit.
Yeah, do you guys at least have that? Because I get it.
Folklore, like that's not.
No, I know what a folklore is, but like you even said it, you don't have any folklores. So okay, well maybe in your part, maybe you don't have folklores, but is there any like street knowledge that you should have, like like in your general area?
All right, yeah, no, that's just I'm sorry, I didn't make the connection. As a
no, because you told me straight up that you don't have any folklores in your culture most of the time. So that's why I was like, okay, well, what about street knowledge that you should know?
You're just gonna jump straight in the gang shit. All right, you guys are hardcore over here, man. I miss a week. I come back, it's a whole different fucking show. Nah, I'm joking. Yeah, of course. You have everything you have on the West Coast. They all just migrated over here, and up north, and it's all the same shit. Like baseball caps. We're not really as big on the colors out here as you guys are on the West. You pretty much can wear whatever the fuck you want, to be honest with you. But you also do know of the streets and the area, especially like in Brooklyn. Still, there's some parts in Brooklyn. There's a lot of parts in Jersey. We have basically everything that you could think of in New Jersey as you do in New York. So we're literally right over a bridge. So any type of gang shit that goes on in the city in New York, then Newark out here is gonna have it, or Jersey City. Some parts of Jersey City are still really bad, and Patterson, of course. Like we have our areas where you're not going to be able to wear red, you know what I'm saying? Or first off, I think that's the dumbest shit ever. Like if you want to be as stupid as to wear nothing but one color, bro, like you might as well just let that person just do it. Like what the fuck?
Like, can you imagine if just like one,
who the fuck wants to
like a tourist old lady, dude, is just like wearing like red? And then a bunch of fucking people just creep up on her and they're like, well, what's up? What hood you from? And they're like, she's like, oh, baby, I don't know, I'm from here. Or she's from Texas or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, she don't know what the fuck's going on.
Exactly. Everyone walking around looking like Power Rangers, bro. I'm good on that. So if somebody wants to do it, I mean, I don't see the big deal. But yeah, you can still find the wrong hoods out here, man. Of course.
All right. Now
that's not as big as it was back in the day, though.
Okay, now I brought it up before the show officially started. Dude, I love your fucking shirt. But if you had to pick one, who would it be?
I was in like as in these two.
Yeah.
Listen, I love The Rock. I actually grew an appreciation with him over the years. I wasn't initially a fan. But I think at this point I would have to put him on my Mount Rushmore. And this is in no way any shade to him. But Austin, I'm an Austin guy. Like I was an Austin guy from the beginning. So whenever he got a W, I don't care if it was against Rock or whoever, I was happy. So if I had to pick, I would like to see these two go again, like in their heyday, like if they just give us one more. But I'm happy with what we got, and I would always refer for Austin. How about yourself? Are you actually, Nico? I don't know this about you. Are you a wrestling fan? Like, are you big into wrestling?
Oh, dude, I'm a fucking hardcore wrestling fan.
Oh, shit.
I fucking love wrestling.
All right,
like everything from the late '80s all the way. I'm not gonna say I'm caught up because right now, we gotta admit we're kind of like the older generation. So most of our wrestlers that we grew up with, most of them are retired or gone. We only got Randy Orton. We got The Miz, we got Kofi Kingston. There's like very few that are still hanging around, but for the most part, all the big names, they're basically gone, bro. So like, now I'm trying to choose my new favorite guys to follow, but I still haven't found them.
What's your favorite era? You can tell a lot about a person with this answer.
Oh, dude, of course, the Attitude Era, bro. That was the best one. They're like, if you say the Golden, it's okay, but Attitude, bro, that was my heyday. That was when I was like in middle school, going into high school, shit like that. So that was, in my personal opinion, that was the best time watching fucking Monday Night Wars. Going back to TNT and then was it USA Network and going back and forth. There would be a commercial, you flip it to the other one. If one of the matches sucked, you flip it to the other one. And you're just going back and forth watching it.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna lie though. Yeah, dude. But I'm not gonna lie. Like in WCW, my number one that I love to watch were the cruiserweights. I loved watching that shit back in the day.
I can see that.
It's a man of culture right there. He knows his stuff, dude.
Put on some good shows.
I love wrestling, bro.
I used to be a Hardy Boys fan, man. There was someone that I sang around with a lot, and she was really into them, and she got me involved in them, and I thought they were really, really cool. Of course, the Hardys had their problems, but
dude, the Hardys were their matches were amazing. Watching them jump off fucking tables and ladders and shit. Fucking that shit was
Dudleys
the
too
best.
were really cool.
Oh, the Dudley brothers.
Yeah.
So we were just talking about this, and not to keep us off track, but me and D, D, we were talking. Actually, me, D, and my wrestling group chat that I was in, we were talking about this. It's something that happened a long time ago. WWE put out greatest tag teams of all time. It was a list where they listed off the best tag teams of all time. I think it was like top 50 or some shit like that. And me and D actually did a video on this. And who was your favorite tag team, Nico?
Okay. Well, I actually have several, man, to be honest with you.
Just give me one. I don't care. Anyone.
I like the Legion of Doom.
You liked LOD. Okay. So what if I told you that on a list of 50, LOD was number 6? How would you feel about that?
I would say that's pretty fair.
Yeah.
Like I would consider them, at least in my personal opinion, at least top 10.
Okay.
So I
personally think they're top 5, if not 1, but that's just my personal opinion. I have no facts based off that because they really didn't have much of a WWE sample to actually even involve in that. So I'm just glad they made the list. But let me ask you specifically, and I'll make this really short because this is a full-blown argument in my group.
Oh
chat.
Shit!
Oh damn!
Where would you put New Age Outlaws on that list? Where do you think they would fit?
Oh, yay. The Road Dogg and Billy Gunn. Oh, dude. Wait.
Put them? Out of 50, where would you think they would land?
I would say
you don't even have to give me a specific number. Give me what? Top 10, top 15,
top 12.
Top 12. Okay. What if I told you they put them at 8 right before LOD?
I would say LOD made a bigger impact.
No.
culture-wise,
LOD is ranked higher. I don't want you to get confused. They're still ranked higher, but
okay.
Is New Age Outlaw is right behind them. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I don't think that's right.
Okay. Why?
Yeah. Well, okay. So my personal opinion, LOD was like in their heyday, like they were like top notch, like fucking stadium sellouts. Like these guys were fucking hardcore. People fucking loved them. As soon as the music started, you watch them come out with their fucking pads and the spikes, the face mask or the face paint. Dude, it was fucking amazing. Don't get me wrong.
But
was
that cooler than them coming out with oh, you didn't know? You don't think which one is cooler, bro? Yeah. I'm an LOD guy. Listen, I'm an LOD guy, but I like to play devil's advocate. Listen, I'm going to cut straight to the chase. I thought they were bugging for putting them at 7. I think they may be top 15, but I do not think they're top 10 New Age Outlaws. So
that's why I said at least top 12.
Yeah, I don't believe it. I would put them somewhere in the top 20, maybe top 15, but that's pushing it. They don't belong in the top 10, not at 7.
Yeah, but what if you look at it? Okay, so I'm gonna ask you guys this because I'm you know me, I'm not like really big on it, but I do know both of these groups. I didn't know New Age Outlaws was this group because I didn't know they had a name. I thought they were just part of a.
Why did you know New Age Outlaws? Why did you know New Age Outlaws? Do you know why?
Why did I know?
Yeah,
because of the DX.
There you go.
Perfect
answer.
But look, I'm gonna ask you this: who made a bigger, like I guess, in factor to what they were at their time of era? Who were the ones that put wrestling more on the map?
LOD.
Is that what you guys?
And there could I totally agree with you, but there is an argument that says the New Age Outlaws may have the edge there because at the during the Attitude Era when they had like heights and heights of viewers of fucking Monday Night, bro, and then you had basically the hottest faction to ever grace a fucking wrestling company in DX.
but there's two different things though. You're talking about New Age Outlaws as one, but then a whole nother faction as DX.
No, it's one. That's what makes this tricky is because you can say that you like New Age Outlaws, but then I'm gonna ask you, well, why did you like them? Oh, because they were part of DX. That's going to take a point or two away, in my eyes, from the tag team that is, because if it wasn't for DX and no one would know who you were and no one would really give a fuck about you, that kind of takes a point away. But at the end of the day, they were still part of arguably the biggest faction to ever fucking be in wrestling.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, like, if I'm not mistaken, and of course I'm looking at this on the outside, like Legion of Doom, like those guys were popular based on a time period where each individual was popular in wrestling because of just who they were.
And they're my favorite tag team.
And don't get me wrong, like I like them too. I thought they were so cool
LOD.
growing up. I thought they were like superheroes. But like when you look at what Billy Gunn and that Road Dogg guy did with DX and all these guys growing up, like they changed the facet of wrestling at that time period in general. Like they literally changed wrestling from, hey, look at this cool wrestler that looks cool in a costume.
Like, okay, but the way
this entire show,
but the way I see it,
like in a different period.
Yeah, Nico.
But the way I see it though, I see it two different ways. If you say New Age Outlaws, I think just nothing but tag team. Now, if you say what's one of the best factions ever, yeah, DX is top 3, maybe. Not hands down top 3 at least. But that's like if you say tag team, yeah, I'm gonna say New Age Outlaw at least top 12, top 15.
But don't you?
But as a faction, dude, DX is way up there.
But don't you think, like, even with the idea of like Billy Gunn for who he is, like as a person who's contributed like his entire life to the wrestling faction, like for wrestling in general,
still contributing, by the way.
Like, don't you think like those guys, like for what it's worth, like all the work that they put in and took their whole life to put wrestling to where it is now, it was a different time and a different effort than it was back then in wrestling. Because like I said, like back then when LOD was in wrestling, it was like Vader. Like each one of those people had like a specific jink. They would go in, do the work. People would like them. But they weren't like trying to build the entire brand together, like as a team. Yeah. Everybody was just in it for themselves at that moment. Yeah. But like now in this generation, do you get what I'm saying?
No, I know what you're saying. And I kind of see where you're going with this. I don't know if
could you imagine WWE and WCW from where it was at that moment without these guys part of it to contribute their life? Like, do you think it's a big enough impact in wrestling as a whole compared to what Legion of Doom did when they were around?
I think that's really hard to quantify.
Yeah.
I think that's really hard to measure because the guys, yeah, it's two different eras. Wrestling was really big when LOD was around, and wrestling was really big when DX and New Age Outlaws was around.
I have one question for you, Brian.
What's up?
Do you think, and just like it's just, do you think they kind of fucked it up with just kind of destroying the whole kayfabe?
No. I mean, dude, like at some point it was gonna have to happen, right? So it's
I know it was gonna happen, but like, did you kind of like, did that ruin it for you a little bit? Because like you see these factions, they fucking hate each other on TV, and you're growing up as a teenager or a young kid watching it, and then all of a sudden you find out, motherfuckers, these guys are best friends. Like, what the hell? Like,
no, I think because I grew up in in post, the fall of kayfabe, if you want to put it like that. So it's like I grew up with people like understanding it's not real, but they didn't give a fuck. That's the beauty of it. Like we all know it's not real, and like, come on, there was a lot of people that didn't know it wasn't real back then too. But who gives a fuck, right? Like it's that aspect of it that makes it fucking cool. And so as a kid growing up, yeah, I knew it was fucking fake, but I didn't give a shit. The same way I don't give a shit now. Like it's something that I don't. I actually am happy that I don't have to walk around lying to myself. Like, come on, bro, we know it's all fucking fake. I don't want to say fake, but it's scripted, right? So it's all fucking scripted. So yeah, no, I'm not upset about that. And I am a golden age era fan myself, but I do like the Attitude Era though. Just to answer the original question.
Thank you, David. Thank you. That's badass, dude. Who are your favorite wrestlers growing up though? Like, who is your favorite? Like,
shit.
Hands down, who's the one that like really like? I'm not gonna lie, super weird. I saw Jim Duggan.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, that's super weird. It's because, and the reason why is because I remember seeing one time, and I think it was against like the Dudley brothers or something like the real small one. What was the small guy's name? Sid or something? Spike, right? I forgot what he did, but he like fucking bounces him off the wall and gives him the hacksaw lariat. And Spike took it like a fucking G, and it looked like something right out of like a fucking murder movie. Like it just looked like one of the weirdest things I'd ever seen in my life. And I was just like, holy shit, this is violence, dude. And I don't know why that sold me on that one move, and I just became a friend of his forever. I waited every day for him to do that.
Okay, so when it came to wrestling, I don't get me wrong, there's obviously the big star names that I really enjoyed, but to be honest with you, as I grew older, I actually started appreciating the guys who would sell for the other guys a lot more. Because it takes a lot for you to fucking show that you're getting your ass beat. Like you're basically putting this guy up over you to make that one guy look like a fucking badass. So like, like right now, I like Ricochet. Yeah, Ricochet. I followed him from Lucha Underground as Prince Puma. I kept watching that, and what was the other one? Oh my god. Okay, well, hands down, as a little kid, I grew up as a Sting fan.
Okay.
I was a huge Sting fan. The Ultimate Warrior was another one. Stone Cold, of course. The Undertaker, Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero. Those were my wrestlers. But now as I grow up, I appreciate the undercard, the guy who's trying to sell to make the other guy look like a fucking badass. Like the way they perform, the way they sell the fucking moves and make them look horrible, like fucking bad. Like Ricochet is one of those guys, and oh my god, what's the other guy? Zach. Oh no. Dolph Ziggler.
Oh, god.
I think he was very underappreciated.
That's good shit, man. Well, I'm not that big of a fan of wrestling, but recently I've had my opportunity to watch a couple of the bouts. I think WrestleMania, when Brian went and actually attended WrestleMania, me and Rob saw it like on Discord and all this other stuff. So it's, it still has its huge entertainment value. So, I mean, maybe it's something that I'll eventually get back into, but we'll talk about that a little bit later, boys. right now we'll jump right back into the conversation. I know, Nico, we only have you for about an hour. You got to take off a little bit early today. So, and Brian, of course, I never get you in the show. Like, I know you're
rocking out good.
Yeah, we're about this shit today. First line of conversation that we're going to talk about today, of course, is we got the drop of the new Venom trailer. Can't go wrong about that. So we, what is it? Tom Hardy's back running the what's his fucking name? I already forgot his name. The guy that the Venom character, Eddie
Brock.
Eddie Brock. There we go. I forgot his fucking name for a moment, but yeah, we got our new trailer for the last film, the third film of the trilogy, which I mean has been kind of like taken in different ways. The first film to the second film. Some people are more fans of the second because of the introduction of Carnage. Of course, some people are fans of the first film because of the pacing and a little bit of the storytelling. But guys, you saw the trailer. What did you guys think of the trailer for Venom 3?
Nico, go.
All right, man. I have high hopes for it. I'm not gonna lie. I personally, my personal opinion, I didn't like the second one. The first one, I fucking loved it. The second one, I didn't really care for it too much. If I had to rate it 1 out of 10, I'd probably give the second one maybe a 7. It was more entertainment value, but it didn't really give me that wow factor. But yeah, I have high hopes. I really hope they make this one way better. It looks pretty good from the trailers. I don't know. It got me, so I'm pretty.
I already got a smile on his face. Look at him; he's already ready to talk.
Because I don't want to talk. I'm here to listen, guys. I'm here to be.
Come on!
I'm here to be that friend that you guys can just lay all your your problems away. So I'm gonna
lay all your problems on me.
Yeah, just lay it. Yep, I'm here.
Go for it, Brian. Come on. I know you're gonna talk shit already. Let's hear it.
I'm not gonna. Let's force a little bit of foreshadowing. I am gonna talk shit. But I want to hear what Chris has to say first, bro. We always go in this order where he goes last, but I'm very eager to know what you think about this trailer. Wait, two-part question. First off, what did you think of what do you think of the Venom verse or the Venom movie so far? And then what did you think of this trailer? And are you excited to see this new movie?
So I wasn't a big fan of the first two films. I mean, I think the problem with it is Sony had an easy home run and they messed it up in the first two films pretty fucking quickly. Which I mean, we talk about this shingles at times, man. It's like, how could you mess up Venom, dude? Like, Venom is such a G character.
I saw a poll. Pause, and I wanted to see if you think it's correct. The guy Josh from Nerd Nerds put up a poll after watching the Venom trailer, and he has this very simple question. Do you think Sony has demolished the character of Venom? And what would you say?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, not to be a dick, but the way that so again,
when someone says not to be a dick, there is 100%
opportunity for them to just be like,
a dick.
Yeah, straight up erect, dude. Straight up, no fucking
it never fails.
No foreskin.
Never fails. It's like 100% accuracy rate on that one.
So you look at the craziest arc in comic book history that's come up in the last 10 years, which is the King in Black, which is probably what the new film is going to be kind of going after. Yeah. There's no way that you compare that Venom in that story to the Eddie Brock Venom character that's in any of the Sony films. I would like to challenge anyone out there that could find me some type of reference in all of MCU. And that goes from comic to video games to anime to anything.
For what?
That gives us that weird Tom Hardy, not so smart reporter, Venom acting like a weird puppy kind of character instead of it being like this malicious being at first that then becomes humanized later, becomes kind of like an anti-hero, I guess you could say. At first he was a fucking serial killer. It's just what it was. He was just going around killing people, eating people's brains and biting heads off and all that stuff. Now you saw it in this trailer where the biting heads things is a joke. It's a weird joke too. There was a part in the comic books where the character would say oh, I just want to eat brains or whatever. And Eddie Brock would have to tell him to chill his shit. But it's not as weird as this. It's not as like a, I don't know, like a Saturday morning cartoon joke. They make it seem like biting a head off is super cute or funny or whatever. I think it's kind of weird. But Yeah, I'm guessing that this movie's going to be heading more into the King in Black situation. You hear it a lot where they're saying there's an army coming, an invincible army. You have the guy that was Baron Mordo, right? You have the Baron Mordo character, which is kind of weird. They're in the character portraying this tactical military dude that's going around collecting the pieces. The other movies, there's something about them that they kind of flopped for me, and I think they flopped for a lot of people too. So for them to go in and drop this trailer was really exciting. I'm not gonna lie, like there was something about it that I was like, okay, cool. Like I see the stuff. I see what's up. It looks a little bit more fun. It looks a little bit more enticing. The music that they chose was really cool. Like they made it pretty solid. But I just don't know if like they're showing us the best things that they're going to offer in the trailer, and that's all we're going to get in the film. So, yeah, I'm intrigued more than I was for Madam Web. I mean, that's not much to say though. You guys know this, man. Let me ask you guys this, because I know you guys are probably sitting on the same boat that I am. That the first two movies kind of let you down. And we're going into this third movie very confused. It's like, I don't know. It's like a weird ex-girlfriend that, she seems cool at first, but then she like keys the shit out of your car, and then she leaves and she takes the shit on your bed or whatever. But then she comes back and she says she's changed and she's found God or whatever. I don't know. We have this third trailer. It looks interesting. It's kind of, copped us out in the sense of like talking about Venom, talking about his world has come this way, which we know in the comic books is null. Do you really think that they're going to bring Null like in this film? And do you think Sony has the shaft for it? Do you think it has the fucking brass ones to bring Null the fucking symbiote god?
No, I don't. And that was a really weird way of saying that.
Because I don't know how else to see it. I mean, you need.
I'm not just gonna let that pass by. That was a really weird way to say that.
Balls to bring a story like that, because even in the comic books, it was wild as shit.
I get it. I don't think they're bringing Null. I think the best, if they were gonna bring Null, Thor: Love and Thunder was the perfect way to do that.
That was the opportunity.
But if they're not going to even allude to him there, I don't think I want to see it in this. Not in the movie where it's been decreasing every movie. Like the first movie I liked, but I said they were going to need to do a lot better in the second one, which I don't think they did. I think what they did to Carnage is a fucking crime, and people should be brought under fucking
tribunal.
Law, yeah, like they should go, like people
should
may have to go to jail for that one. I think one of the most iconic villains is Carnage. I think as a kid or as a teen, you walking by not seeing like the cover for like Absolute Carnage and being like, holy shit, that's cool, or just seeing him in anything. If it wasn't just cool to you, I don't know what else is. So what they did in that second movie was horrible. But listen, I'm gonna be optimistic about this one. I'm not gonna throw it away completely. I don't think they ruined the character. They've done some damage though, I will say. But I don't know if I'm gonna see this like opening day or like the first weekend, but I'll eventually watch it and I'll judge it then.
Yeah, this isn't a Deadpool 3 kind of moment, right?
Yeah, no, I already got my tickets for Deadpool 3.
I'm probably gonna get them in a week, which is probably like the shittiest time to get them because everybody's already probably bought them out.
Yeah, dude, I would say at this point you're not gonna get even if you do get a ticket, it's not gonna be an
opening.
Yeah,
it's not gonna
or even if
how is it looking for you guys over there?
Dude,
are they already like all sold down and shit?
Yeah, it's you're fucked. You're gonna have to wait.
In my area, probably not so much.
Yeah,
I was like in my area, probably not so much, but I know in your area, you guys probably get sold out pretty quick.
Especially for like the good theaters. For me, that's important. I don't want to see this movie on some shitty, crappy fucking theater, and it's trash because that's all that was left. So to get like a good seat in a good theater, bro, you're pretty much screwed.
So what are your anticipations for Venom 3? This is for both of you because between you guys and me, I didn't like either one of the first ones, the first or the second. I wasn't a fan. In the first one, I fell asleep in the bicycle scene, the motorcycle scene, like I had already just crashed out. And then in the second scene, I think the part that kind of took me out of it completely was the finger biting. when Carnage bites his finger because he puts it in the jail cell, and then he's like, "You taste kind of funny" or whatever, and I was like, "Oh, this is so bad, dude. This is so bad."
All right.
Yeah, I think just that kind of killed it. But yeah, you guys have kind of like, you guys have your likes between it. What are you guys looking forward to in this third film, being on what you guys have gotten as Venom fans?
I don't know if it's so much as me looking forward to something as to me just saying, all right, let's just put this to bed. Like if you've already been on this 2-movie ride, man, we might as well just see it through, bro. Let's just see it through. Let's see how they land this shit. You never know.
If the ship's gonna sink, I mean,
yeah, bro. Like we might as well just see how this plays out. You know what I'm saying? So
good point. It's a good point.
Nico,
what about yourself, man?
All right, I'm not gonna lie. I'm with Brian on this one. It's one of those where I already invested my time watching the other two. I'm gonna go watch the third one. Don't get me wrong. The reason I chose number 1 over number 2 was because number 2 fucking sucked. It was horrible. I hate that movie.
There was something about it, right? It felt very
No. They just no justice to Carnage. Just the way Brian was saying. Like growing up as a kid, Carnage was somebody you should fear. Somebody that he's a fucking badass. He's a fucking menace. This guy is a fucking serial killer.
Yeah, he's like, a serial killer. Yeah, like legit serial killer. Like he's
that's why like
fucking guy that's already crazy in the first place.
But the thing is,
can you imagine the fan base that Carnage has, and then it fucking flops that hard?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's something that director guy's never gonna let down. You know what I mean? Like that's gonna be the dude that like you're gonna see that guy anywhere he goes, and you're gonna be like, oh, you're the guy that fucked up Carnage.
And if you really think about it, there really wasn't a big like outrage about it, so they got off easy, bro.
Yeah, it's because no one watched it, no one cared.
They got off pretty easy for what they did to Carnage, but I don't think anyone forgot about that shit. So we're looking at this new one with like a little glare to it. Like
looking at it like, oh, okay,
let's just get this over with, bro.
I'm not gonna lie. I really, in the near future, I hope they just fucking pretend this never existed and just restart again. Yeah, and just reboot the whole Venom thing. The only thing is that, God, fucking Sony dropped the ball on this hardcore. Like you said, they have one of the best fucking franchises in Spider-Man with Venom, Carnage, so many fucking great characters, and they can't seem to fucking nail these movies half the time. Even Spider-Man Homecoming, I didn't like it. Like I don't know, man. They just these past couple of movies from Sony suck. They're fucking horrible.
I think outside of the Spider-Verse, the animated shit, I don't see where they could justify continuing. I mean, they still do have Tom Hardy, who is probably people's favorite fucking Spider-Man at this point. They have that. But outside of that, they still have this stupid ass Kraven the Hunter movie coming, and they just dropped the dud with fucking Madam Web. Morbius is a fucking shit on wheels.
But I think, Morbius, like for what it was, like now that I look at what they have been producing, like it's not that bad anymore.
Bro, I said this like I remember when the movie came out. I was like, the movie's not that bad. Like it's not as bad as everyone's making it out to be. I don't know what the fuck happened with that.
I think when you take Morbius, or when they took Morbius and they were comparing it to like, like if you compare it to anything low budget or low quality in the Marvel universe, it doesn't stand with it. But I think we talked about it where it was like, dude, if this was, the Fantastic Four or Blade or anything in that period, it would have done extremely well during that time period in comic book movies. But like right now in the current landscape on what we expect superhero movies to be, like I don't think it doesn't stand on its 2 feet. But then when they release Madam Web and it's like a million times worse.
I still haven't seen the movie. So.
I still haven't seen it.
Pray you don't, because like even for free you can't get your money back. Like that's time wasted, bro. Like
that's a currency I wouldn't even like.
Yeah, I wouldn't even
give it. Yeah, I'm probably never gonna see that fucking movie, and I'm fine with that. Like,
so one of the biggest things. Okay, so I didn't get to watch it, but I tricked David into watching it. So David saw it, and it was funny as fuck because he was like, "Man, I can't believe I saw that shit." And I was laughing.
David,
what a good friend I am, right?
Yeah, I would.
Tricked him right into watching that shit because it was free, and he's like, "That's time I can't get back," and I was like, "Man, that's what I was gonna say."
Somebody here should do it for fucking research purposes. I'm not doing it, but
I'm not doing it.
I did it for Velma, dude. Like,
so they do it for this.
No,
yeah, that was
Velma.
And I had to sit there and defend Velma. Remember that shit? I had to
sit. Can you imagine how hard it was? You were there and you were like, all right, I'll play devil's advocate. And I was like, dude, I had to watch that shit.
Now I'm
and then they made a season 2.
Yeah.
They made a season 2.
You're gonna watch it?
Fuck no, it's already been out for like a month. I'm not gonna watch that shit.
Watch it, bro. I mean, you're already invested, bro. You're already invested. Just finish it again.
If I had to make a choice between that or Madam Web, it'd probably be fucking Velma. It would probably be Velma instead of Madam Web.
That's fucked up, bro.
So like with Madam Web, remember, I think my biggest thing was, I told you, my biggest fear about Madam Web is that they were gonna shoehorn and like kind of like cheapen the Peter Parker story. That was my biggest concern, because that's literally what the people that are making films have been doing to kind of put themselves into the modern landscape of these superhero films and stuff. And I 100% thought that they were going to be like, oh, remember with great power comes responsibility. That's like the motto that the entire base of moral stature on Peter Parker got from his dying uncle. And that was something that we were like, wow, that's a really deep thing. And then in the fucking movie, they were going to make it a fucking fortune cookie that he just ate something at a Chinese restaurant. And then, you know, when he's dying in front of his kid or in front of his nephew, who practically is his son, he's going to mouth off what he read on a fortune cookie, like at lunchtime, as his last dying words. Like, that's literally what I thought they were going to do in the film. But I think they didn't end up going through that, which fucking thank God, dude, they didn't do that shit. But like, that's to me like the biggest concern is there's always this like weird like concept that a lot of these directors and writers have been doing, where they're trying to like implement their versions of the characters. And I think that's what ruins it. You know what I mean? That's what ruins a lot of these series. Like with the, like with Madam Web, we talked about it from it before it even came out, right? I think me and Brian, Miko, you weren't on the show with us yet, but Brian and I and Trigger were talking about it, and we were like, there's no way. There's no way this works. There's no way this works. But like now we have Venom. They brought out Carnage and they did a complete bad job about it. Kraven the Hunter, no one asked for that. But like the actor's not too bad. Could they pull off like a Morbius where like they kind of nail it in that old format? Maybe. But like Venom 3, you have, what is it? What's it going to be? Toxic and Scream or Screech or something, which are the two villains. Toxic. They're super underwhelming characters that people don't really know about, except if you played like the Venom video game. And I think if you like at least read the comic books, other than that, you don't really know that. I think Carnage would have been good as a third movie character, like the coming to an end for the franchise, like it coming to like a complete, like, you know what I mean? Like a finale, right? Do you think they're going to attempt for like a null, like a god of the symbiotes, and that this guy's got to like take him out? Like, but fuck, dude, that's even scarier, man. How did they pull off that entity? Because of course we know Null from the comic books as the god who forged the ebony blade, which was the blade that cut off the Celestial's head, where the Guardians of the Galaxy's kind of like sleep or whatever, the nowhere helmet head, right? Do we think Sony can pull that off?
I think they can. Here's the thing. They just need somebody that actually knows the character. One has read King in Black, and is you might not even be a fan, because a lot of people aren't fans of King in Black, which I guess I kind of get. I liked it, but someone that understood it at the very least, and get the right scenario. I don't want to see it in a situation where this movie is ass and they just try to save it by shoving Noel in your fucking face. You know what I'm saying? So I think they can pull it off. It's Sony. They have more money than God. So they can, they have the resources. Just, if you're going to do it, just do it right. That's all I ask.
And then the other thing is, did you guys hear that? Well, I mean, it's in the trailer, but it seems like the Venom character is from the past and Peter Parker's a child. So I saw it. I don't think of it as that. I thought about this. I don't mean to cut you off, but I think it's more of, it's just a different universe. In this universe, Peter's a kid. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, because we did see. I don't think it's because he's from. I don't think it's because
he's
from the past or something.
Past, yeah.
But they're gonna make it to where it's a Venom raises Spider-Man in this universe. Like he's gonna be his uncle or whatever. That's gonna be like the person who raises him. So like, there's even a concept where, I mean, I'm just speaking into the darkness here, right? I'm just speaking into the weirdness, and I don't want to speak it into existence. But there's a possibility that at the end of this, this Brock sacrifices himself, and the Peter Parker ends up being the son and the character of the Eddie Brock's son, who does end up being the Null and taking over. Do you remember in the King in Black story, like the son played like a huge factor, Eddie Brock's son?
Yeah.
So like, there's a huge ideal that Peter Parker, the young child, could be that character in this story. Since
There's
Brock doesn't have a son or whatever.
There's absolutely no
you really don't think so?
There's no shot.
If they did that, would that be a little bit like, come on, bro? Like,
because it's not part of the comics. Canonical. It wouldn't make any sense. The average movie goer that isn't a Spider-Man fan will not understand why now all of a sudden Peter Parker is being raised by fucking Eddie Brock. Like that doesn't. No.
Does that kind of like suck though, that they're shoehorning these like weird stories? And yes, of course, their excuse is going to be like every other like artistic director of, oh, it's interpretation, or it's how you analyze it or whatever. Or like, we said before, oh, the multiverse and stuff. But do you think that cheapens the story of the character when you bring it out in a film and it's like more like stamped into reality? Because people look at that and they think like, oh, okay, yeah, that happens in the comics. It's got to. Like, why would you make it into a movie?
I'm not quite sure I follow your question. I'm sorry.
So like, okay, so again, speaking into the void.
Yeah.
Let's say they go in that direction, because that's a part of the Null the symbiote story.
Oh, you're still on this fucking Peter Parker.
No, I'm just shooting out ideas, like, because the thing is like I said, like,
I'm saying you're all over the place.
No. What? It's because I'm asking, like, what do you guys expect from this movie, right? And I'm saying, like, what I expect is that they're probably going to end up following a little bit of the Null storyline. We see in the trailer they talk about the guy from Doctor Strange is like, there's an army coming that's invincible, that we can't beat them. That really goes in factor with the whole symbiote world or whatever. What is it? Venom's character is talking about his planet is coming, which we can of course knock that down to like, I think it's like the Karlak or something like that. He has like a weird name for the planet that's just made of the symbiote goo that Null is in the center of, right? In the comic books. That is apparently coming to the planet Earth, which literally is the exact antithesis to the King in Black storyline. And Venom and a couple of other symbiotes are the only ones that are like, yo, let's fight against it. I think at that time, Carnage's character is going around collecting the codexes. Anybody who's had a suit, Carnage is going around killing them and taking their spinal fluid.
No, I know the story. We don't have to hypothesize about this. The story that they're doing is actually a comic. I can't remember the name, but it is one where all of the symbiotes were called from was it Venom or Carnage? One of them let out like a shriek, and it signaled to all the other symbiotes on this planet, and then they came to inhabit Earth and just take over everybody and kill them. I'm gonna look for it, but that's the story I think that they're going towards, because I think it was kind of spoiled that there's a shot of the cop from the second movie, the one that was being a dick and chasing Eddie Brock all over the place and Venom and all that shit. He gets sick at the end of that movie.
Yeah, he becomes toxic.
And he's the one that's going to turn into toxin. And then he's the one that's going to let out the shriek. And that's the reason why all of the symbiotes are coming here. You guys keep talking. I
guess that even with that right there, that's kind of like, again, almost like the way King in Black started. Where if I'm not mistaken, I think Eddie Brock's Venom ends up, or Carnage or something ends up unlocking something and talking directly to Null, which gets Null excited to come to the Earth, and he brings all the symbiotes. Very, very similar kind of aspect, right?
Yeah.
But I really don't think, 100% they can't do Null. 100%.
So the actual comic is called Planet of Symbiotes. I knew it was something because I just saw it the other day. So it's called the Planet of Symbiotes. And it's when all the symbiotes, come to Earth to take everything over. And the name of the planet is Clintar.
Yeah, Clintar. Yeah, it's something I said something with a K, right?
Yeah.
Look at Vince is in the comment section. He's like, in the end of the movie, Eddie dies and the symbiote goes to young Peter and he becomes Null. That's kind of like King in Black, I guess you could say, because he's like, yeah, it's super weird. But I don't know, man.
So I think that's gonna be the storyline that they're following.
A little bit closer to that one.
Yeah.
I really hope. I mean, that one makes a lot more sense. I don't think they pull off Null. I think it's too big of a character for them to really kind of go after. They have like I could see Sony trying to be like, oh, we should have our own Thanos. You know what I mean? And then they fucking ruin this character. You know what I mean? I could totally see them doing that, just like jumping the gun. They're like, yo, this guy's cool. Let's fucking do this because we can't use any other character. And then Marvel had Thanos. We can use Null. And then that, of course, like messes up opportunities for Marvel later. But yeah, there's a little bit that I'm excited for, but not too much, man, for when it comes to Venom. A little bit, just I don't know, man. Nico, you've been kind of quiet about this. You know, do you have anything to say about this stuff or what?
Look, honestly, like I said, I'm hoping near future they wipe the shit out of this fucking movie and the whole fucking thing.
Whole universe,
Look,
dude.
the whole thing is they're trying to make it family friendly so that the young generation, younger kids can watch it, and the parents will feel comfortable letting them watch it, and they're gonna sell action figures and all this other crap, all the merchandise as always, and they're babying the fucking characters. They're washing them down. These characters are fucking, like I said, these guys are fucking badasses. These guys are some of the best Spider-Man villains out there, and they're fucking holding back on us.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like the true characters of these guys, they're the best, hands down, in my personal opinion, the best Spider-Man villains ever.
Sure.
And for them to fucking demolish fucking Carnage the way they did in 2 was horrible. Now, if this fucking movie was, you know, if Sony was like, you know what, fuck it, we're gonna give them what they want and we're gonna make this a rated R movie, it would be way better.
Yeah,
but
I don't know if they're gonna do that, but that'd be
they're not gonna fucking do it. You know, I don't think they have the balls to do it. But like, if they fucking did it and they did a rated R movie, we wouldn't be talking shit about these fucking movies. And that whole thing with Noel, honestly, it's like one of you all said it. The common movie goer does not know comic books the way you guys know them, you know. So obviously they're trying to like give us little baby stories that, you know, the average person can kind of follow. And I really wish they would bring Noel, but like I said, if they're gonna fucking not give us the characters we want, then don't fucking do it. Yes, it would be awesome to have their own fucking personal Thanos in that franchise, but if they're gonna fucking do them that bad, then don't even fucking attempt it. You know, you're gonna do it fucking right. You're gonna do it fucking right. Don't play with us. Like, you know, like I said, these movies are what, PG-13 if I'm not mistaken.
They are. Yeah, I'm looking that up right now.
Yeah, so you know, like I said, they're babying these fucking movies because they want younger generations to watch it because they know that anything dealing with Spider-Man, it's gonna sell.
It's gonna make money.
It's gonna make fucking money. You know, and the thing is, everybody had their thoughts of the ending of part 2. Oh my god, he's finally gonna get to meet with Peter Parker and all that. Then they rewrite the whole fucking script and they, you know, it's like they're playing with our emotions and they're not giving us what we really want, you know. So I don't know, man.
Like, they're butting heads with Marvel because Marvel doesn't want to allow it because they have other plans for Spider-Man. You know what I mean? Like, they're waiting to get the rights back. I think that's kind of what it is. So like at the ending of the whole like Peter Parker, the No Way Home.
Yeah, but Sony's never gonna give away fucking Spider-Man.
Yeah, fuck no, they know it makes money.
That's a huge fucking franchise for Sony. They're not gonna just, oh, here, you can take them back. Like, there's fucking money. They could make a shitty fucking movie, and just because it says Spider-Man, it's gonna make money. So, you know, and we're stupid enough to fucking go watch it because we love Spider-Man. Like, that's one of our top characters. We love that fucking character, you know. But go for it.
Well, like, I mean, you know, thinking of the concept of what, you know, Sony is going to do with the character, comparing it to what Marvel wants to do, we got confirmation that Marvel is going to be doing something very, very big again coming up in the future. And knowing that, you know, you have Venom, you have Spider-Man, what do you think are the possibilities of us seeing the Spider-Man character, the Venom character, maybe even the Carnage character in a future endeavor in a Marvel MCU property like Secret Wars or something? And I say that because of the fact that Marvel just recently released that they're going to be using at least 60 characters for one of their Avengers films that's coming, one of their upcoming films, which of course I think me and Brian kind of already got this, which is probably going to be Secret Wars, which is going to be like a whole plethora of just superhero characters on a planet. What do you guys think are the possibilities of us getting like maybe Venom or maybe Carnage or maybe of course we're going to get Tom Holland as Spider-Man. But what do you think? Like, what do you think? Of course, most iconic thing is the black Spider-Man costume that everybody wants to see, of course, right?
Yeah.
From Secret Wars. So what do you guys think?
I do think that when we get into like these type of topics and you pose these type of questions, I automatically, this is just the way that I'm wired, my brain just switches off from being a fan. It switches off from being a fan, and now I'm thinking about money, right? Yeah. So you're asking, could we see Spider-Man and could we see Venom in Secret Wars? Well, does Sony like making fucking money? Mm-hmm. Like, why would they not have them in there? Like, they have a fucking a no-brainer way of just making some quick fucking money by attaching yourself to probably
one of the big
another big Marvel fucking movie that is for sure going to make $1 billion. So in that case, it's very easily you can see why you can get a Tom Hardy and you can get a Venom in this movie. So the short answer to you is it would make a lot of sense for Sony to do so, because apparently they're not making a lot of money besides Spider-Man with what they have anyway. So why not just take this character like Venom, which, you know, according to some polls on Twitter or some polls on Instagram, we're destroying the character, you know, as we speak. So why not put him in this movie, make some fucking money off of him before we change gears or do something else?
True that. What about you, Nico?
Hands down, Brian basically nailed it. Yeah, I could see. No, it's true, man. When it comes to money, it's all about business, bro. And we just said it. Spider-Man sells. Spider-Man obviously is going to be there. Venom, it's like a package deal, basically. You know, I could see Venom being there. I don't know about any of the other villains that might want to make a return. But I don't know, man. Spider-Man, hands down, and Venom, I could both see in the movie, obviously. Especially the black suit, you got to have that fucking in there. But what I want to know is who the fuck are all the other characters? You said 60 characters, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can pop you guys a list real quick. But yeah, you're looking at, of course, everybody that's left over from the ending. I mean, pretty much you have to remember that most of the characters, other than Black Widow and Iron Man, are the only characters that have passed away, right?
And we're getting mutants. I don't think we'll have a full-blown mutant movie by the time we get Secret Wars, but they'll be introduced into the MCU. So, like, if you add with what we already have, and then you add the mutants, I think you can easily come up with 60 characters. I don't.
True. I'm putting up right now. We here on the show have a private chat, so I'm dropping all the fucking names real quick.
Let me see.
Yeah, and I've only gone halfway, bro. Like, that's nuts. There's already too many fucking people I can think of.
What I want to see is what I want to see is the fucking paycheck for this fucking movie. God damn.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, like, I mean, so if I'm not mistaken, the Avengers Infinity War movie had 64 characters, right?
Yo, hey, number 13, get the fuck out of here.
13, She-Hulk. Don't be mean.
Come on, bro.
She's there. She's in it. That's just half. I think I just posted up half of the characters. There's more. Actually, I could go through. You know what's probably even better? I'll just share my screen.
Dude, you even put number 20 Nova in there.
Yeah, Nova hasn't even been introduced, but he was supposed to be like a character. So this is from comicbookmovie.com. They went ahead and made a list. Avengers, Cosmic Heroes, Street Level Heroes, Mutants, and Variants, and the TVA, and one of Earth's Mightiest Heroes and stuff like that. So it's not too bad. It's a pretty good list if you guys look it up. If anything, I can kind of put the list up so that way you guys can follow. I'll put it in the chat. But what do you guys think, man? What are some of your characters that you really hope to see coming up in the MCU 60 Marvel characters? Who are you guys excited to see?
Dude, I'm telling you right now, there's characters in here I don't give a fuck about.
Really? Okay, so is that a shorter list or is that a longer list?
The ones I don't give a shit about?
Yeah. Would that be a shorter list or a longer list?
Hell no, dude. To me, it's like almost half this fucking list.
Oh God. Brian, what about you? How do you feel about seeing a lot of these people coming back? I mean, you can. Okay, so first off, I'm not gonna lie. You cannot have Secret Wars without these characters coming back. Most of them.
So you can't, and that's where I'm
okay. I'm not gonna lie. I don't mean to cut you off, Brian, but I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna bullshit you guys. Totally. I've never fucking read Secret Wars. I've never fucking read it.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know jack shit about it, but you're telling me you can't replace a few of these characters with somebody else that would be a little bit more like okay, She-Hulk. I'm sorry, I'm not a She-Hulk fan. Like, I get it. She might have a certain part or a story in it that might be game changing, but if it's not really that big of a character, you can't give me a fucking Daredevil or somebody else. Like, like fuck, man.
The thing is, this is gonna be their payoff. And in the world of wrestling, you know what that means. Like, that means you've built up to something, and then at the very end, Cody's story was the payoff. The WrestleMania thing, that was the payoff, right? So when you have Secret Wars, that is going to be their version of the payoff. So they're going to jam as many fucking characters as they possibly can so that everyone's fucking happy. You're not there. I don't see a world where they make this movie where there's even one fan of one of these characters that's walking away saying, well, fuck, I didn't see my favorite character. They're going to give you the She-Hulks. They're going to give you the Wandas. They're going to give you the Lokis. They're going to give you every fucking thing they could possibly have. I don't know if the word excited is the word for this movie, but I think it's going to be interesting what they do in this next year or two with some very important characters. I think it's going to be the gauge on what the hype level is going to be for this movie. So I think, hold on 1 second, Ego, just let me land. So I think when it comes to Galactus, I think it's important that they get that right. I think they get Dr. Doom and the Fantastic Four right. I think that's very important as well. I think if you get those two things right, you crush it with this Deadpool shit, you come out strong with like the introduction of the X-Men, there's gonna be a lot of hype for this fucking movie.
I think so.
There's gonna be a lot of hype. They have to get on the roll and start knocking some shit out the park, and then this is gonna be a easily $1 to $2 billion movie.
Easy.
Okay, just go through the list. If you could take out 5, just give me 5. Take them out.
Take out 5. I think,
bro, you could take out a fuckload of these characters.
I was gonna say, like, honestly, I could probably give you 20, to be honest.
But see, that's the thing is, it's because Brian and I know the story, so we know the majority of these characters really don't play a role.
Yeah, they don't.
They don't even play a role. They're not even in the fucking comic book.
So they could be in the movie. They could be out the movie. I really don't give a shit. This is just a list of possibilities. But a lot of these characters don't play a factor.
Like, I don't even know if Brian remembers this because it's such a small role in the comic book. The only thing that Jennifer Walters' She-Hulk character does is in Old Man Logan. Yeah, in Old Man Logan, remember he throws Wolverine. She throws Wolverine out of the zombie world.
Yeah.
You remember that shit? Like, that's it. Like,
I do remember that in the zombie world, but I think she was also in the very beginning parts of Secret Wars. Secret Wars in the original in the 80s.
Oh, in the 80s, yeah, the old school one.
Yeah, she was a part of that as well, like in the very, very beginning, if I'm not mistaken. So like she does play a part, and that's why, like, if Nico, if all you're going off of the MCU and what in that movie, type of shit, it's not gonna land. But there are some characters in here that are on those lines that they don't need to be in here, to be honest with you.
Well, okay, but what I'm trying to say is, but what I'm trying to say is, I'm basically what. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is, I'm the audience because I don't know the comic book. You see where I'm coming from?
Makes a good
so from an outsider seeing it this way, to me this looks like trash. Like, because obviously you guys saw the comics, you guys read the comics, you know the storyline about it. But from somebody who never saw it or read the comic, and now you're giving me this, like, dude, from what I've seen in She-Hulk, that's trash. And now you're going to put her in there. I could see her in the back, disappearing every once in a while.
So Nico, I was kind of touching on that, not to cut you off. I was kind of touching on that before. Like, that's what I was kind of saying is, like, this is their payoff, right? So yeah, you may not want to see She-Hulk. There's gonna be a lot of people that are invested in She-Hulk, and she's got to be in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I get what you're saying, and like I don't think me and Chris are not understanding where you're coming from. You're speaking from a quote unquote like a quote unquote normie. Like I get it, and that's the reason why I say they have to have, because of people like you, because of the normies like you, they have to have a She-Hulk in there, because you're not gonna be able to follow everything. They're not gonna make this movie and leave one person leaving that movie saying, "Oh, I wish that one person was in it," or it would have been cooler if that person was in it. Like, they're gonna cover that really well.
Well, I think even the factor that they're introducing all these weird fucking characters in the Disney shows is because they need them introduced, like the way they did Carol Danvers, like in the old movies for Infinity War. Remember when she just came in just to like cut Thanos' plane in half? Like we were expecting something ginormous with this character, and she just came in and did that little part. We were expecting so much more because of the hype around the way that they built her character up. So like,
if we saw this list for Endgame come up and it was 60 people and it was, I don't know how many characters were in Endgame, but if we saw the list, people would have probably been the same way like you need to, like, oh, this is trash, like I don't need it. But when we saw it like play out,
it made sense.
Kind of nailed it.
They nailed the fuck out of it. They nailed the fuck out of those movies.
Well, but at the same time, when they brought out Endgame, they didn't have fucking crappy ass characters that came out. Like really think of the final battle. Think of the final battle where they make their appearance and they come back from the warps. Like, dude, there's no shitty character in there.
It's gonna be the same characters in this one.
Kind of.
Basically, the exact same characters that are in that one are gonna be in this one. This is just a list of people that somebody just thought up and threw in a list. I don't want to make this an actual list. We don't know.
Yeah, because look, someone even put Kahori, which is from the fucking cartoon. Yeah, that's not even a real person yet.
So it's like
at least Agent Carter, she has like a physical character. But some of these
we don't know the exact list of people, but what I can say is that the majority of the people, if you liked Endgame, you didn't think that was too much, I'm pretty sure all those people are gonna be in this one. So not everybody just fucking blow a gasket just yet.
Yeah, I mean, for fuck's sakes, Agent Coulson is number 37. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Agent Coulson didn't even come back for Infinity Wars after, he literally faked his death, and anybody could have figured out he faked his death. He was all over the fucking news and the television show. Tony Stark could have figured that out like in a heartbeat, and no one ever brought his character back. So like, this list isn't something to be like set on. I mean, the X-Men are one number, and that's like 8 dudes. You know what I mean? The X-Men isn't one guy. You know what I mean? That has to be like 8 different people in a group. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I understand where Nico's coming from, because he's saying
he hates She-Hulk.
No, yeah, I know, I get that, but like with the current roster of people that have been brought out in the MCU, they don't stand strength-wise against the people that were in the MCU in the first 10 years.
Exactly.
Like in the sense of like,
but they're still there. We've only lost.
Yeah, they're still there.
Like 2 people.
No, but what I mean by that is like, okay, Secret Wars, or let's say Infinity War. When the Hulk lands on Earth and Doctor Strange is like, we can get everybody together. Let's get everybody together. They go to the people that they didn't go to the fucking Defenders. They didn't go get Daredevil. They didn't ask fucking Luke Cage or any of those people, because they couldn't just grab those dudes, because there was nothing they could really do in that situation. So like, let's say Secret Wars happens. Doctor Doom comes out all of a sudden. What does Echo do? Like, what is what's her name? I just saw her name right now. Like, what is I don't even know, man. There's so many weird characters that I can go through in this. Oh, what is what does Sylvie do? Like, I mean, she's a strong character, but like, who's she gonna do in the universe? Moon Knight, Scarab Spider, Hunter B-15. Like, if they end up choosing some of these characters just based on the fact that they have a show, like, what do they do with them? Like Obi, like, he's a cool character. But like, where do you put him in this world? Is he going to have a major calling? Is he going to have like a huge part? What part of the comic book is he going to be able to like substitute from the story? Like, I understand where Nico's coming from in the sense of like, yes, there are a lot of characters that they have that they can use, which is great. But a lot of those characters have no like foothold in the story in general, in the overarching story. Because again, like when we saw Moon Knight, I go back to Moon Knight because I thought Moon Knight was at least a good show. Where does that stand in the overarching like vibe of the MCU? Like, what was his name? The villain,
like,
Khonshu, right?
Okay,
Like,
so look, I
last?
totally hold on, Chris. I totally get what Brian's saying. It's this is their payoff. This is the big hitter. This is it. They're trying to nail the home run on this one. I totally get that. It's just that if you are trying to make this fucking home run, give us the characters that we actually care about and not the flaws. Like, I get it. Yes, they had their own shows, but if they fucking drop the ball on the show, I kind of don't even want to see them in the fucking movie to begin with. You could put them in the background somewhere in the fucking way back there, like, you know, like just to have them like, oh, just appear just so they could be in the fucking movie. But like, give us the characters that we kind of grew up with and we actually care about the most. Have them up front, and the guys who kind of just, you know, they drop the ball. Yeah, they're still in the movie, but you know, they're kind of back there doing their own shit, like, you know. But like, there's some of these. Adam Warlock, I don't give a fuck about Adam. She-Hulk, I don't give a shit about her either. Nick Fury, I don't give a damn about him right now. You know, there's several of them. I'm a huge Punisher fan. I love the Punisher. I hope he makes an appearance. That would be pretty cool. Daredevil, awesome. I love that guy. You know, there's several characters in here that I'm excited to see in there that they didn't drop the ball on. These are great characters, you know, and you kind of want to see them progress and get better. Because if you're like, damn, dude, like if they made a TV series out of these guys and they kind of nailed it with them, now they're going to make it into an actual big screen appearance. You know, it's great. I got happy when they showed Daredevil with Spider-Man. I thought that was the shit. Like, I was like, oh, damn, like he's making his appearance on the big screen now, like, you know, and I was hoping that they were going to do a little bit more with him in the movie, but they didn't. But it was great to see him there. Now to see that there's a possibility of him making an actual physical return and have some action, dude, I'm excited for that. But the ones that like Nova, nobody even knows who the fuck this character is. You know, like, I'm excited to see him. You know, I hope they don't drop the ball because this is going to be, if he does come out, this is his first official appearance. So I hope they don't fuck him up, you know, but all these other shitty ass characters that they kind of drop the ball on, have them in there. I don't give a fuck, but just have them in the background. Like, they're characters that people don't give a shit about.
I think that they're aware of that. I don't think that we're going to get, if we do get Agent Coulson, it's not going to be a lot. If we do get a Sylvie, it's not going to be a lot. I don't think, you know, this movie isn't even in production yet. This is just some statement that came out that we don't know what it's going to look like in a year or two. So I think that, yeah, they're going to probably take a look at some of these names and say, you know, we probably don't need all of them. We may get a condensed version of this when they start shooting. And again, I think if they do build into another point, Nico, to what you're saying, like you don't need to see these people. I'm gonna tell you right now that you might as well gear up for it, because if they do the legwork, which they should be doing, and this is gonna be looking like a projected $1 billion fucking movie, you're gonna get She-Hulk, you're gonna get all these motherfuckers, you're gonna get Nova, you're gonna get all that shit, bro.
See, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, and Mike Betancourt in the comment section, what's up, my man, says if we do get Nova, it's probably going to be a Jason Alexander, which is a young Nova, instead of the Richard Rider storyline. So, like, even with that, they're probably going to do it where they have, like, at least, like, a mentor, like, with Richard Rider, like, coming in and teaching, like, a young Alexander. And young Alexander, of course, was part of the Champions, the Young Avengers. He was all over the place in the Younger Cats, which is, of course, in the demographic of what we're getting for the Avengers in the first place. But I have highlighted, of course, probably one of the most important, iconic characters of the original Avengers cast, Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man. What do you guys think about a possibility of us getting a return of Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr., coming back to reprise his role as Iron Man?
Okay, if that happens, everyone get your fucking cell phones ready, because the reaction pop in that theater is going to be fucking loud. Like,
now, let me ask you a question. If that happens, would you trade a Robert Downey Jr. appearance if you had to sit through She-Hulk appearance?
Yeah, because that's the
yeah,
thing.
dude. Of course.
All right, then they got you.
Robert Downey Jr. had a huge
now they just neutralized the fans like you. They just neutralized you with just throwing
dude.
Robert Downey Jr. Like that's crazy.
Dude, 80% of the fucking original Avengers are already on this list. Dude, that we grew up with them. That's what we've been watching for the past 12, 15 years, you know. So yeah, 80% of the characters are already there. We watched them from the very beginning. But there's certain ones in there that, dude, I don't give a fuck, and most people wouldn't give a shit about either. But yeah, I get it. They're gonna be there, you know. But like, I just hope that they don't really focus on the crappy ones. That's really all I care about. If they have a huge fucking badass battle scene at the end, and She-Hulk fucking chucks the shit out of somebody every once in a while, I don't give a fuck. But that's what don't give.
If you're gonna get a Robert Downey Jr. in the movie, you're not gonna focus on fucking She-Hulk. All right, let's just be honest. You're gonna focus on Robert Downey Jr. and Iron Man. So there's nothing like, even if these people are in the movie again, you're not gonna see a lot of them. If you're gonna have the original, like the ones that you love, the ones that you said that you love, like the Iron Mans and everything, that the characters that people love from the first two phases and all that stuff, they're gonna focus on those people because they know that's where the money is. They know because they've already done it with Endgame in Infinity War. They know what sells. They know these characters are what's going to be the ones that sell. I don't think they would be as naive to say, all right, we're going to take a focus off of the guaranteed money that we've seen with these people and try to place it on the She-Hulks and the Sylvies of the world. I don't think from a business perspective that would be smart. I just don't see that happen.
Now, realistically, how long is this fucking movie supposed to go for? Is it a one-part, two-part, or three-part?
Yeah, because there's no way you do it in a single. So it's going to be a long. It's just like the way it was for Infinity and Endgame. But
okay, you see, and I personally thought I don't know. I was thinking maybe 3 movies because there's so many.
I think that's way too long. That's way too long. That's way too, because you're looking at one.
Dude, movie. What are you talking about? They got Lord of the Rings. They got fucking Star Wars.
I was gonna say, I don't mind a 3-parter, dude. I'm not.
But you're looking. Think of the time gap between each film coming out, and you know the time.
It was only a year. It was only a year between Infinity War and Endgame. It was only
but I totally get what Chris is saying. But you got 60 fucking characters, and some of them just might make their first appearance. You got to give them at least a little bit of star time. Like, you can't just roll over those characters.
I don't mind the 3-parter at all.
Yeah, well, I don't think anybody minds a 3-parter for an Avengers,
especially movie. if the people that are going to have the concerns like you that say like, well, what's the time gap in between the movies that are dropping? Again, like, it was only a year between Infinity War and Endgame, which didn't seem like long at all. So
I don't know. I would be happy with a 3, because if you're going to give us that many fucking characters, like, and there's possibility that there might be introductions of new characters that we haven't seen in a movie yet, or not even a TV series. Yeah, I would love for them to get a little bit of star time so we can kind of build their character at least a little bit before they go off and branch off and do something else with them. Like, I don't know. I think a 3-parter would be great because, dude, we've seen Lord of the Rings, we've seen fucking Star Wars, we've seen all these other fucking movies that have long ass fucking storylines, and we still watch them. So why not give us 3?
I mean, and also to kind of like devil's advocate against what Nico was saying, like, even if we do get a She-Hulk character, there's a huge possibility that the director is going to write her differently than the show. And it's going to be more comic book friendly, more comic book accurate.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, we're so far away that they have some time to fix some of these things. But listen, before we start getting even deeper into wherever the fuck we're headed right now, I just wanted to just read on what actually we're talking about, which is like the Robert Downey coming back. Just to put into context, if no one knows what we're talking about, Robert Downey Jr. just had an interview with Variety where he told Jodie Foster, which is kind of weird, that he is still open to coming back and playing into the MCU. So I'm just read this really quick. He said, quote, it's just crazily in my DNA, probably the most me character I've ever played, even though he's way cooler than I am. I've become surprisingly open-minded to the idea. He said between Oppenheimer and Sympathizer, you know, he's been pretty busy, but he said he looks pretty good. He says, I was actually looking at the stills and we're talking, making sure, do we still look okay? Do we still look kind of okay? I'm like, we look pretty good. So what do you guys think of him saying, basically, I'm coming back as Iron Man.
I mean, I've kind of voiced my opinion on the whole multiverse and time traveling and stuff. I think the Iron Man Robert Downey Jr. death in the comic book or in the MCU was probably the most iconic thing as a character they could have ever done for a character like Iron Man. And going back to a comment that Michael Betancourt put earlier, he had put, it's just pandering at this point. Let's move forward with the Young Avengers and give them a new storyline. And I think that's been the biggest problem in the comic books is that Iron Man, Tony Stark, is the same Iron Man my grandpa used to read in the comic books at the same age, 30-something years old. And even right now in the comic books, it's still Iron Man at 30-something years old. Like, I think it was good in the sense of, like, even when Captain America turned into the old man, it made it feel like, yes, we've read the comics that he ends up becoming young again and doing this stuff. But this is it, dude. Like, I don't think Chris Evans is coming back.
Does it lessen the blow of the death in Endgame if he comes back?
I think it does.
Bring him back?
I think it does. Me, in my opinion, I think it's just one of those things because now it's like, oh, cool. Like everyone, it was like Gamora. Like, remember when Gamora's character ends up sacrificing herself, but then she comes out at the end? Mm-hmm. And you were kind of like, well, why couldn't they just do that with Black Widow? Go back a couple hours, tell her, hey, you're going to sacrifice yourself. Be cool. When we bring you back to the future, because you're going to die anyway. Cool, bro. Yeah. Just be cool. Like, you just cool a couple hours. You know what I mean? Like, why didn't they just do that with her character? Why is it that they said when she was taken into Voldemort or Valdemir or whatever, I don't remember the name of the planet, but like when she gave her life, like that was it. Across the board, the Hulk with the Infinity Gauntlet could not bring her back for whatever it was. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was very
why
weird.
Why didn't anyone warn them about going to Voldemort? Was that not weird?
Gamora did. Like,
but she just didn't really warn. She didn't warn him like you probably should have warned him. Like, yo, one of y'all are probably not coming back.
Yeah, you ain't coming back. Yeah.
Like, I think they might have rethought about going. Like, they were just really eager to go to fucking Voldemort.
Shout out Mark Velasquez from the Chew and New podcast. What is up, my dude? In the comment, always good to see you, my guy.
Oh, you know what? That reminded me. You know what? Elizabeth said something about cookies. Before I told
where is this up here?
Yes. Listen, if you want to get some cookies, listen, I'm a fat ass officially, so I will never not take candy from strangers. So
Bucky's jerky. Oh my god.
If you're gonna be in the area, let me know. But yes, Nico, what do you think? I know that you've seen Endgame. You're very into the OG characters. If they bring Robert Downey Jr., A, how do you feel about that? And B, does it lessen the death of him in Endgame?
Well, it lessens the death because we know obviously he's coming back, but you can't rewrite what's already been done in the sense of, like, as a fan, the moment that happened, dude, we were all heartbroken. We're like, fuck, like, there was a devastating time.
Wasn't a dry eye in the fucking crowd,
room, but you got to understand, Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man is basically Johnny Depp as fucking Captain Jack Sparrow. These guys like are their characters. Yeah, these guys are iconic to their fucking characters already. Like, don't get me wrong, we do have the new, what is it? The female version of Iron Man, stuff like that. Ironheart. Have obviously, Ironheart. We have the new Black Panther, stuff like that. But dude, it's like you said, like we gravitate and we get emotionally, like I don't know, man, we get attached to these people and these characters, because we grew up with them, like, and then when we see somebody leave, it sucks, and we hope that they do them justice. And then in order to see this character make a huge comeback, I already said it, get your cell phones ready, because the pop of his return is gonna be fucking crazy. It's gonna be all over the internet, all over YouTube, TikTok, like reactions and crap like that. I'm excited for it. If it does happen, I want it to happen, to be honest with you, because I'm sorry to say, but Ironheart does not do it for me. Like, I get it, we have to move on, we have to get these characters out. There's new characters coming in. We can't live off these characters forever. I totally get that. But I'm sorry, Ironheart just doesn't do it for me. And I'm not saying that just because it's a fucking female character. I don't give a fuck who's playing it.
Fucking sexist, bro. You're a sexist, bro.
I knew some shit like that was going to come up, bro. I knew you were going to say some shit. No, but it doesn't do it for me because
okay. All right. So then tell me what does do it for you? Pause. So out of all of these lists, let's just say that this is gonna be the accurate list. Let's go back into fucking fairy tale land and shit like that, right?
Yeah.
Let's say this is the fucking list, right? Actually, let's exclude this. Taking out the OG characters that we all love and we all adore, right? What newer characters are you looking forward to in Secret War?
That's a good question.
Hold on, I gotta go back to the fucking list.
And I'm talking about from after Endgame.
Oh, okay. Let's get the fuck out of here, bro.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's got to be one person, one character that they've done since Endgame that you would actually want to see. No, nobody.
No,
Chris,
dude. Because look, me personally, I'm a huge. I love Daredevil. I love Punisher. Okay, those are characters that I'm excited for. I want to see Ghost Rider. I want to see what the fuck happens there. Because I love Ghost Rider. I'm a huge Ghost Rider fan. But the other characters, Valkyrie, stuff like that, War Machine. Well, actually, he's basically considered, I guess, the OGs.
He's an OG.
Yeah. So yeah, dude. Honestly, all these other guys, no one really. It's not the wow factor.
Chris,
whoa, cancel that, sir. Mine are. I would love to see Adam Warlock return. Adam Warlock's still one of my favorite characters, and he plays a huge factor in the old comic books.
And I didn't mind him in
Guardians.
In Guardians,
yeah, he was good. He was great.
Yeah, I think Nico mentioned him earlier. I was like, "Yo, you're kind of bugging," because he was kind of OP.
Yeah, Adam Warlock, I kind of feel
he was kind of OP.
They played him dumbly on purpose, but they don't let you see what he's truly capable of. But he did amazing feats in that fucking story. He literally flew out into space and saved Peter Quill without a fucking spacesuit. Like that was so cool. I mean, he's an idiot, but that's his whole that's his whole shtick, dude. And I think they just need to let him cook a little bit more. I think he's going to be a great character in the future. Namor, I would love to see Namor come back. I think the guy Tenoch Huerta did a fucking fantastic job, even though the character had been changed from.
Brian's laughing.
Yeah, Brian's laughing because that wasn't a great movie.
Not only that, but it was just I'm laughing mainly because of the countless
that we argued about
hours that you've kicked that guy's back in, and now all of a sudden,
the reason why, and you know
now
what,
all of a sudden he's the fucking best thing since fucking sliced bread. I don't understand.
He's not the best thing. He's not the best thing. But you know what? I talked about that when we did the show and we saw Black Panther, the second movie. I said I thought they did an amazing job with his character, how they rewrote the history, and they quelled my ideal on it because they brought in a whole new factor. They made it to where the harpies kind of mythology into the character. I didn't really quite get the Aztec thing because we're not really a water people, we're not based on the ocean or whatever. But they made it work. I mean, they made it work for what it's worth. That was great writing. And then, of course, the beginning when he throws the fucking helicopter, that sold it for me hardcore because they didn't fuck around with his power set.
Okay.
And I think he did an amazing job as a villain.
Okay.
Because he wasn't a typical, he's just misunderstood. There was parts where you're like, yo, this guy's fucking nuts.
Got it.
He's fucking crazy. He was written good.
So in addition to Namor, who else?
Captain American Chavez. I still say American Chavez is. I told you I'm a big fan of her character in the Ultimate storyline. I think they have a really good way of working this character. I think they just wrote her weird, but the actress is very she's passionate about her job. She did very well for what it was. I just think they wrote her stupidly in the Doctor Strange story. But that's more on what's his face the Evil Dead guy, the writers or whatever, how they wrote the movie. They kind of made it more about him, the director, more than the characters. So those are my three choices of if I really wanted to see people go on those three characters. America Chavez, she kind of carries the young Avengers team. I think that's really good. She's like a powerhouse. She's like a Carol Danvers version in there. Namor, he works very good for the Black Order, which is of course Thanos' team. This guy that's he's willing to do good stuff to be a hero, but he will instantly fuck it. We got to do the real shit, guys. I'm sorry. And then of course the last one is Adam Warlock, because of course we didn't get the Adam Warlock that we wanted in the original Infinity story. Now we got an opportunity to make him shine in this story as the Superman-esque character. I know that they've said stuff about the Sentry. We still haven't seen him, but we do have an Adam Warlock character.
We all have people that we want to see. Like, of course, I said already, Doom and Galactus, but someone I think that they have in their arsenal since Endgame that they haven't really done much with, which is crazy because the actor is so good. Is Moon Knight, bro? Like, I am really interested to see what they do with Moon Knight going forward. Oscar Isaac is a fucking
G.
Yeah, he's a G, bro. Like, I was a fan ever since Ex Machina, yo. After that movie, bro, like I was an automatic fan. So I want to see what they do with Moon Knight going forward. Other than that, everybody else on this list after Endgame, I'm kind of with you, Nico. I can do without, but also am a realist and understand that we're probably going to be getting a lot of these people.
Yeah, we're gonna need it anyways, and if they have good writers, it'll make it work.
Yeah,
I mean, I guarantee, like we all felt it the first time. I mean. There was a couple of places where when they would talk about the first list that they were going to bring out for Infinity War, that we were like, yeah, that sounds dumb.
Yeah, because don't get me wrong, I'm watching this list, right? And I'm like, all right, well, at the same time, I know the list isn't 100% accurate. Obviously, like they're going to cut several people out of here, and they're going to add other people. We still have not seen Deadpool and Wolverine. Obviously, you guys said it yourselves. Yes, the X-Men are in there and stuff like that. The X-Men is considered like one person in that list, but yet there's like fucking 6 to 8 characters in there, you know. So, and we also don't know who else is going to make a fucking appearance, which I'm hoping we get surprised in Deadpool and Wolverine. I hope they don't leak every single fucking character, but if they leak a few of them every once in a while, they're probably going to be on this list later on. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think
there was.
I think it's just one of those. Go ahead.
There was a leak that came out like 2 days ago, and these actors that have been in past either X-Men movie or MCU movies that are saying that they're not going to be in Deadpool and Wolverine, they're in Deadpool and Wolverine.
They're fucking because they did the Juggernaut, right?
The Juggernaut just got leaked. So like, and he vehemently denied saying that he was gonna have anything to do with this movie, and it turns out that he is. So if you're like it's gonna like the internet is gonna suck the first week of this movie dropping. If you don't see it right away, you're gonna have to, unless you don't care about shit getting spoiled for you, all of them are going to be everywhere after this movie.
Everyone's in this shit.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of these characters that are going to come out in Wolverine and Deadpool, it's going to be we all know it. Everyone that's a Marvel fan is going to go watch this movie, and it's going to be current characters that are going to be leaked, which would make more sense if they're already leaked to put them in this fucking Secret Wars, because it's going to be something that's kind of somewhat current, up to date, and people are going to remember it because they saw Deadpool and Wolverine. So it would make sense why they would be in that fucking movie.
Yeah, it's being used the same way that the Disney Plus shows are being used, kind of just to introduce and shoehorn a bunch of characters in. And of course, like during Secret Wars, the Hickman storyline, we're looking at the or is it Jason Aaron? I can't forget. I forget. It's Hickman, right?
It's Hickman, yeah.
Yeah, Hickman. That's what they used the life raft for, and I'm hoping that Deadpool is the life raft, the one that has all the X-Men characters. Like hopefully we'll end up getting like the Cyclops with the Phoenix Force, like that one, and that would be pretty cool if they brought back the old dude. So that'd be pretty rad. But yeah, not too bad, boys, not too bad. Onwards to our last part of the conversation. I know that Nico's probably got to take off. We got a little bit of time left, right, Nico?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm not gonna lie, I was supposed to take off like 30 minutes ago.
You crazy guy.
We brought up She-Hulk. Yo, he was gonna get his She-Hulk.
You fucked me up with She-Hulk. I'm like, fuck that.
She-Hulk hate off. He's like, you know what? 30 more minutes.
I got fucking 30 minutes to fucking bury
the bashing She-Hulk. Yeah, I got it for you guys. Don't worry.
Speaking of bashing, Acolyte, the Star Wars series came out. The first 2 episodes have come out. A lot of people are up and down about this. Guys, I had the opportunity to watch the first 2 episodes. First, I want to ask you guys if you guys have seen the first 2 episodes yet.
I haven't.
Okay, so we got one out.
I don't give a shit. You guys can spoil the crap out of it. I'm still gonna watch it, but
well, Brian, Nico, being that you haven't seen it, you could probably ask us about it, because you've probably, of course, I mean, you'd have to be living under a rock if you haven't heard about like all the stuff that people are saying about the Acolyte show. But of course, like this will give you an opportunity. If you don't mind spoilers, you can ask us, Brian or I, since we've seen it, like what do we think or what we've heard or what we feel about this. But Yeah, straight, man. Brian, I want to ask you. I mean, I know you're just like me, huge Star Wars fan. Mm-hmm. You've seen the first 2 episodes. How are you taking it in? What have you heard? Like, first off, let's go with a review, non-spoiler, I guess. Or you could run into spoilers. I really don't think anybody really cares. If they haven't
Honestly,
seen it,
I've perfected the art of explaining something without spoiling it. So I can do either or. It doesn't really make a difference to me. But I'm just giving my initial reactions after the first 2. I don't want to jump out of a fucking window because there's only 2 episodes in.
True.
But I really liked the first 2 episodes.
Really?
There were some things that I didn't, or that I had some questions. Well, there's one question that I had, and there's one thing I didn't like. I had a question as about this was supposed to be 100 years before episode 1. Yeah, but it doesn't look like it though.
Doesn't even feel like it. It feels like it's right in the same time period. Yeah,
it feels like it was like a week before episode 1. Yeah, like that was the one thing that was just like mind-boggling to me. Like you would think, just with the production or the scenes or whatever, it would look dusty or just ghetto as fuck. But no, it was just fucking. It looked like it did 100 years later in episode 1. So that was the one question I had that stood out to me. And then number 2, I guess my only issue is the first fight scene with what's her name, Carrie Moss. I loved it, but fuck.
Yeah, no shit, dude. I 100%. I already know what you're gonna say about that. Because I feel the same way. I feel the same fucking way.
Yeah, I had some questions there as to why they would do that, but then I found out that there is a reason for that, and that we're just gonna get a younger version of her going, because we're gonna be doing back and forth jumps from what happened with the whole
flashback and stuff,
with the flashbacks, and
because that needs to be resolved in some way, because I don't get it, and I think that's a huge throwaway for the character. But yeah, I really don't think we should have a problem speaking about spoilers.
Nico, I kind of feel like hold on before you go, Nico. I want to know, are you you're not a big Star Wars fan at all, right? You're not a
fucking diehard, but
I watch it. But like, have you seen like the movies, some of them?
No, I've seen every single fucking Star Wars movie.
All right, perfect.
Yeah, baby.
All right, cool. So I wanted to know.
He loves Kylo Ren.
Oh, fuck that.
He's a huge fan of Rose, dude.
Fair enough. All right. So, Chris, what did you think?
I thought it was okay, man. I thought there was a lot of inconsistencies. I think, and I'm a really strong continuity person. I've talked to you about this before when it comes to like the storytelling, and 100%. I think you're absolutely correct. You cannot tell that this is 100 years in the past. You could have given me like something like disco hairdos or something.
Anything. I wouldn't give a fuck. Anything.
Like there was nothing that dignifies or at least like correlates that this is like a different era. It just looks like even the Coruscant, the Jedi Academy, the same exactly fucking wallpaper, like the same. They didn't change nothing. The same room that those kids are being taught in is the same exact layout they did with Reva when she was a kid during Order 66. Exact same color scheme and everything. These motherfuckers are boring. They don't even like change the wallpaper.
Wow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the only thing that I was kind of like,
and it's like noticeable. Like it's noticeable. Like it took me out for a second.
Yeah, because you're kind of like you're anticipating this idea of be like, wow, 100 years in the future, man, maybe a lightsaber is still battery powered and it still got like a backpack and it's got a USB cord or some shit. You're expecting something that kind of feels old. Yeah. But there's nothing about it that gives you that correlation that it has like a time frame like that. Everything just, I guess the only thing that felt that it was a little bit older, I mean, you could probably like disagree with me on this, is that they had to wear like astronaut spacesuits to go out on the ship. When they walked out, they literally wore like Among Us, like circle headgears with like almost like a NASA outfit. Yeah. And you're kind of like, oh, I guess that's kind of old school. It's a little old school. They still have hyperdrive. Everybody's still chilling. Or maybe it's even the fact that the girl's using like actual bladed weapons to fight with. But that didn't give me enough. It didn't take me out enough of the Star Wars world to make it feel like it was anything different. The fight scenes were cool. Some of it was a little over the top, but cool on the visuals. Other than that, it looked very like sitcom-ish. Like it looked like episodes of like Supernatural or like even like The Flash. Like very like set pieces were done a little bit like weirder. Like I mean, the one thing that I want, damn, I was literally like hoping you were gonna come on the show, Brian, because I had to ask you this.
What?
The difference between what we've seen right now, it's only been 2 episodes. I can't really shit on it too much.
That's what I'm saying. Like I can't go into it like in on it, but from what I've seen so far, yeah. Go ahead.
But like with the idea of what we've seen, the set pieces, the way it's been filmed, the way it's kind of a little like it almost looks more like a television show than a movie. Knowing that this is only $10 million cheaper than Dune 2, and you saw Dune 2. Like the production value is at 180 million and Dune 2 was at 190 million.
Yeah.
Like, do you feel like that's like well spent, or do you feel like, wow, I hope that, where the fuck did the rest of that money go? Because
I don't know.
Like, that initial episode should have worked.
When you're dealing with Star Wars, it's so fucking in between the ears type shit, bro. Like, I don't know how much it costs in post to do some of this fucking
CG stuff.
CG shit. I don't know how much that costs. So I think that they may need to save some money on the practical sets. You know what I mean? So like I think it makes sense. I think that anything attached to Star Wars equals a lot of money being spent. So that's just how I view it.
The rough around right now from Jedi News is the stagecraft and how this was reflected in the show budget of $180 million. 22.5 million was spent on each episode.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of money, man.
It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And it's a lot of money for a streaming service, because how do you recoup that money? Like, how do you get that money back?
Oh fuck, I don't know, man. Because I'm gonna check this out real quick because I want to see views.
All right. While you guys do that, I have a question.
Go for it, brother.
Okay, if it's 100 years prior to episode 1, from what my understanding, is the Empire still a thing, or is that just barely coming up, or what the fuck's going on?
No, I believe they explained it.
Yeah.
No, it's called. Yeah, is it called the Order?
The Order.
I think it's called the Order at this point, and they explain it in like the opening crawl where they like give you a synopsis of what's going on, and it's saying basically like the Jedi and the Order have been doing their things for like a while. So they've even been around before like hundreds of years before this show. So they like that lets you know that this has been going on for a very long, like the Jedi's running around in the orders and all that shit. Like that's been a thing for like thousands of years.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fucking crazy. So apparently the 2 episodes June 4th release generated 4.8 million views on the first day on streaming. But I wonder if that fell off on the second episode, or it continued to hold those like watchers all the way through. So, equivocating the idea of how much it made. Ahsoka drew 14 million on the first, but it says the first 5 days. We're not looking at the first 5 days. We're just looking at the first day itself. 4.8 million views, which apparently that makes this the biggest series premiere on Disney Plus this year, which, I mean, there really hasn't been anything that's been premiered this year other than what X-Men, and X-Men wasn't viewed a lot because a lot of people considered it a child cartoon or whatever, even though it was highly popular amongst the fans and stuff like that, right?
But you got to figure that, the majority of the people that are going to be watching this already have the service. So you're not getting new people to subscribe to your platform. So where are you recouping that $100+ million budget? Like, I don't. Yeah.
And I
think maybe it's a long game where they're going to sell you a movie somewhere down the line and they hope to recoup some of that money there. But spending all that money on a TV show is wild. I'm pretty sure they probably spent the same amount for Mando. No, you would think.
I wouldn't even know. I wanted to look up, actually, as a matter of fact, what I wanted to look up is how many subscribers they have right now, because I'm guessing that, out of all the services that they've been providing, they probably lost numbers within the last quarter. They probably lost viewers, because I've heard more people talk about not having the service than I hear that people are getting the service, or at least are paying for it still.
Yeah.
So like that's even something to look at, where it's like, okay, cool. Like, is the reason why it's getting so many people is because they lack content for people to watch?
Okay, so for Disney Plus, I was actually thinking of just fucking getting rid of it because Mando's the only fucking show that or the only series I actually watch. I actually care about.
Don't
Get me wrong. All the Disney old school movies, I've seen them like a couple of handful of times, maybe a dozen times each movie already. Like it's the same fucking shit. They're just fucking cycling through the same movies over and over. And it gets stale, it gets boring after a while. So it's one of those, like, you know what, unless you got something new, I ain't gonna fucking be paying this shit. Same thing with Netflix, bro. The only reason I reactivated my Netflix was just for Godzilla -1. That was it.
Yeah. And you're looking at 120 million for the first season of The Mandalorian, and Kenobi season 1 only cost 90 million for the 6 episodes.
I was gonna say, like, I can just tell by the way it looks that this is probably on par with like Mando. But
you're still looking at 120 million to 180 million.
I mean, at that point, what the fuck is 60 million?
Yeah, apples and oranges.
Yeah,
get a couple extra
what
million.
The fuck is 60 million to them at that point? If you're spending all that money, yeah, like
it sounds so wild to say 60 million ain't nothing. You know what I mean?
Now, if it was like 80 million versus like 180 million, then that's something like, all right, now we're talking like $100 million that you're just dumping into something that you may not recoup from. But I don't know, man. From the first 2 episodes, I think that you really can't tell that money was spent there. You can't see it. You can't.
You can't. So yeah, the first 2 episodes, it's not like, it wasn't like backbreaking in the sense of what we got for the series itself. I don't think it was anything crazy. There was some stuff that I was kind of like not concerned but disappointed with. There's times where like a character will use some type of Jedi power that pushes the story, and then later on he should be using that same power and he's just not using it. And it's like, dude, why do you choose to do this on not important parts? 2 important parts, but of course that's like storytelling. You know, that's more on the writers than it is like the show itself. The characters aren't too bad, and yeah, the action's cool. Some of the characters are a little bit stale, I guess you could say. Like they don't really have a lot of like flavor to their characters. That would be like Yor's character is kind of boring, kind of real paperish. But my thing is,
I liked him.
You dug him?
I dug him.
There was something about him that I thought that he was very like he wasn't. There's no like big development. Like he doesn't really show a lot of like pizzazz.
I think that guy. I think that character, and this is just, I don't know no one's has ever said this, but I really think that they're gonna have a play for whatever character he's playing right now, because he's too by the book. I think if you really watch the first 2 episodes, and this is what I'm gathering from it, is that you have a lot of people that are like hardcore Jedi and will just, it's the Jedi way and that's it. And then you have others that are like kind of in the gray area.
Yeah.
And we're dealing with those 2 types of Jedis in this
universe,
in this story. And I think that's what's going to lead into the Sith and how it comes to form and all that.
What are you getting from the story that we've gotten so far? Like when it comes to like, let's say we talk about the 4 characters that the villain is going after. Like, what is it that you think that might have like perpetrated the whole incident?
I don't know exactly what happens in the story, but what I'm gathering just from watching it is that the Jedi have always had it seems what they're telling you is that the Jedi have always been, you know, thinking they're always right and doing the right thing and believing that the Jedi way is the right way to do things. And they're going to explore that that's not necessarily the case, that they can fuck up too, and they can pick the lesser of 2 evils sometimes. And I think we'll see the reaction from that in this story. I think that is what this whole story is going to be based around. It's basically the Jedi not being as noble as, you know, people think that they are, and the ramifications of that. People that are finding out firsthand that you guys could be really fucked up and then seeking their revenge about it.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it's in that what you said right now, where you're going to get this dichotomy of like the 2 different factions of Jedi, where like some of the Jedi use moral like aptitude to kind of guess or guesstimate when they should or shouldn't act by the book. And I think these 4 Jedis had a situation where you have your main, the Asian guy, where like he made a choice to do something that was like more more in the sense of by feeling like, hey, you're not supposed to do that. That's not right. And that's like an emotional content, where you have the other Jedi that are just strictly protocol by the book that are like, well, it doesn't matter. You leave them because that's the Jedi way. And I think where they have this situation where you have the family died, the one girl thought they died and the other girl survived, and they only saved one because that's the only person they should save, because it's the more, what is it like? It makes more sense just to save that one rather than emotionally sacrifice yourself to go save the others, and then the person survives and blames them for not, pulling through and using like emotion to save people.
So I think you hit the nail on the head on that one. Right? Is emotion. Emotion is greatly displayed in these first 2 episodes. There's a lot of emotion running around. A lot of people having some very strong emotions about the Jedi and specific Jedi. And as a Jedi, you're not supposed to have what? Emotions. You're not supposed to have any emotion at all, because that can lead into whatever the fuck we're about to lead into. And so I think that's what we're going to see. We're going to see the ramifications of all these fucking emotions surrounding the Jedi having to come into play.
Yeah, I 100% agree. That's what we're dealing with here. Because go for it.
I have a question though. Okay, I know it's way too early. You've only gotten 2 episodes, but from the 2 episodes that you've seen, did you get the same, like, do you think this is going to be possibly as popular as Mando, or no? There's no way.
It could. I mean,
but yeah, it's barely episode 2. Like, it's hard when you're
that's what I'm saying.
There's 8 episodes. We're on episode 2. And from what I'm hearing, I don't want to really delve too much into the 3rd episode, because apparently it's supposed to like fuck up the entire Star Wars world. We'll see how that plays out. But I think they do have things in place to make this. I don't think it's going to be as flashy as Mando, because Mando is very flashy.
Yep.
I think it'll be good, but I don't think it'll be as well received as Mando.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it's going to be one of those things like Mando. They understood the formula. And what do I mean by that is they understood the difference, or not the difference, but they understood like you can do like a show that has rich story, but you do need your sci-fi. Like you need your like the unbalancing of having a good time compared to it just being like strictly like hard. And I think right now the Acolyte show, it's going to be coming in with a really big like it has to come in with a lot of emotion, because it needs to make these characters. I think so. The big rumor is episode 3. They're going to be showing off that the idea is that the character has 2 moms. Now, of course, the whole like ideal is like the lady who made the show. A lot of the people that are advocating for the show are very much into the LGBT community. But the thing is like this, being that it's part of another galaxy and another universe, a bunch of different races, like you can get away with that stuff. That's like America Chavez's character in the Marvel universe. She has 2 moms because she comes from a universe that's just all females. Of course, this is sitting at a time where there's a huge push by certain people to do it, and a lot of people don't feel like they're organically involving it. They're just forcing it out there, and they're making you want to watch it.
I think to add to what you're saying is, if we're gonna spoil it, I think it's the fact that there's 2 moms, and I think something about the Force being like female in nature.
Well, I mean, that's the thing is a lot of people don't want to anticipate I mean, they liked it when it was in the Clone Wars and you had the sister and she's the good side of the Force.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, is it any far-fetched from that? I don't know. I'm not trying to say like I advocate for this. Like what all I'm saying is like it's not too far-fetched from what we had established, but it's just that it's being headed by someone in that nature that doesn't care what the people of the fan base thinks. They want it a certain way.
I gotta watch it.
The thing is like, of course, in Clone Wars we have the brother, the sister, and the father, right? We have that's the dark side, the middle balance, and then of course the good side. And the good side is the sister. Like it's literally. So if that's the antithesis, the base of them saying that Star Wars, the Force is female, and they're typically not wrong. That's why you have, Dave Filoni there sitting alongside this chick, like being a part of it, because they are following the structure. They're just putting it in a more strict sense. But they have to make it make sense. They can't just be like, oh, well, females are just strong in the force because it's girl power. It's like, what? That doesn't make sense, dude. Like, first off, you can't say it's female because you want us to accept genders for who they are. So what if it's a male character who sees himself as a female and then gets into the force? Does that make them a female character? Like, using their own format of talking about it. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, you can't do that. You can't make a character a gender. You can't make a force a gender. You can't do that because
I gotta see the episode before I
okay. All right. Okay, I got a question. Do you think it's a lot easier for them to use a character that's already been somewhat introduced or established in a movie to make a series off of? Or do you think it's best to make the series first and then, if it, depending on popularity, make the movie?
No, they need something that gravitates towards it having an anchor in the universe, which is the Wookiee character that's coming up. That Wookiee character is very prominent in like the animated films and a lot of the old school legend story. But nobody, unless you're really into it, you're not gonna know.
Yeah, but they really didn't need anybody for Mando, and that took off.
Well, Mando himself
had no connection. Mando really had no connection to Star Wars. That was an original character that they took that they incorporated with Clone Wars and shit like that, but he really doesn't have any connection to Star Wars.
But they introduced a Baby Yoda. Okay. Like they needed that anchor to that character to be like, yo, Baby Yoda, that's Baby Yoda.
But until Baby Yoda, they its own thing. Baby Yoda, right? That's a cop out. Baby Yoda is not the reason why that show is successful.
But it helped.
I didn't say it didn't help
tremendously.
It definitely helped. But there were a lot of things. Listen, I can go to probably 5 things that probably helped out that show before I get to Grogu. Yeah. Yes, Grogu definitely helped, and the cameos like Luke at the end of season 2, that definitely fucking helped. But I think I'm gonna disagree with you where I don't think they necessarily need. You just need people that know what the fuck they're doing.
They need to know the universe.
And they need to know they're fucking fans. Like they need to know that, this is probably the more, no, I'm not saying probably. It's probably, it's the most toxic fandom and fan base on the history of anything ever in life. So like you have to understand that and understand that when you do certain things, there's going to be ramifications for it. But also on the flip side of that, if you do something right, you give a shit about the product and you execute, you're gonna amass a lot of fans. Yeah. So I don't necessarily think a star power or connection to Star Wars is necessary.
But I don't even understand where the concept of like what is a toxic fan base. Like I don't get serious. I'm 100%
Philadelphia.
Like, what is it that makes the Star Wars fan base toxic when the fans have been the #1 target to what these people do not want to please?
Before I answer this, do you think this is a toxic fan base?
I think they're a abused fan base.
It's not what I asked you. Do you think this is, regardless on what made them the way they are, I'm asking you the results. Do you think the Star Wars fan base is toxic?
No. What I do believe they are is I think they're pissed. That's what I think they are. That's not toxic. Toxic is just coming out and being like, nah, fuck this because fucks this. These toxic is the cousin abused by these organizations. The same reason why Nico hates She-Hulk.
Toxicity is the cousin of being pissed, bro. You do toxic shit when you're pissed. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah, but look, watch. Even right now, we were talking about this. Like She-Hulk, the #1 thing that show did was they said they were going to go after the fans. They were going to go after the people who didn't like a specific thing because that should be them being toxic. Because the fan base doesn't deserve that. They pay the bills. You're supposed to please those people. And what is it that the people are asking for? Just a better story.
You're asking people that have to please damn near 4 generations of people.
Yeah, it sucks.
Do you understand how hard you're not gonna please everyone? First off, let me answer my own question. That's a fucking toxic fan base. It is. I don't care what made them toxic. I don't care about any of that shit because again, you're asking people to appease the OG trilogy, the prequels, the sequels, the shows. Like that's spanning 4 generations of people that you have to fucking appease. That is almost impossible, bro. It's fucking impossible.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. Like when they came back after the hiatus from the prequels, the fans are the ones that they should have reached for. They should have said, "Hey, you know what, guys, we're coming back. Like we're coming back."
People have been turning on Star Wars for since the
longest
prequels.
time.
Since the prequels. So I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that shit. And George Lucas was still in charge of the prequels. So like they are definitely they've been turning on the fucking the god of Star Wars, George Lucas. They've been turning on him since the prequels.
Since the beginning.
This is a toxic fan base, bro. Like it's been going on for years, bro, and it's only manifested into this
monster,
whatever the fuck it is now, and it doesn't seem like anything that Star Wars is gonna do is gonna be right. It's just they're in a lose-lose at this point.
But okay, so let me ask you this. This goes for both of you and Nico, right? Do you think with the product that they've been putting out, like they deserve to just be like, hey, you know what, guys, we'll take it easy on you. Thank you guys for making Star Wars stuff. Like with the stuff they've been putting out, that's with the last 3 films. That's with what is it?
No, but what it does, it makes it impossible for them to gain a leg because everything's just gonna be rejected at this point.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
like everything's just gonna get rejected. There's gonna be a sector of fans that don't like
are just not happy.
That are just not gonna be happy. And those are the ones that usually run to fucking Twitter and make their fucking tweets. It's not the ones that are excited about it, the ones that are happy with the product. It's the ones that you see because they're pissed off.
Yep. But do you think that it helps when the showrunners and stuff are like, well, you know what? Like, fuck them. We're going to go against them anyways.
I don't think they're doing that. I don't think they're purposely trying to piss these people off. I don't think that's happening. That would be silly because it was heralded as probably the biggest franchise, in the world. So I don't think that would be smart. I don't think they actively did that. I think some missteps, some mishires, kind of set them back, and then they just didn't take a break. They just kept the foot on the accelerator. Yeah, they kept the foot on the accelerator and just dug themselves a deeper hole.
Good point.
They need a break. I think Star Wars just needs a fucking break. Like they just need people to just relax and chill the fuck out. And sometimes it's good to miss something. When something goes away, you actually form a longing for it. I think that's where Star Wars is right now, bro.
So in the comment section, it says, here we go. Let's go back a little bit because I want to read all of these. Not all of them, but the majority of them. Elizabeth says, oh, the Sailor Stars, probably for Americans from back in the day, is happening to Star Wars. Interesting. Oh, I'd have to see that. I don't really know what that means. Mark says, Carlos Ferro, a.k.a. Dom from Gears of War, has rescheduled till June 27th to give us an exclusive interview on the new Gears of War E-Day game coming out this fall. Yeah, we just saw the trailer pop off, guys. Don't forget. So I guess June 27th, Mark and the Chew and New podcast is going to have Dom from Gears of War. Good stuff, man. Carlos, he was just down at the Flux doing stuff. We had it on our show a long time ago, man. We had him on a show. He's a good cat, man. Super nice. But yeah, guys, go check that out. Don't forget. And Eel says, it's not the fault of the fans, though. That's the director is fucking up the show. Well, directors and writers and people that are coming in, I believe. That's a good point. And then Vince asks a question. Which fans do you think are more toxic? Marvel or DC or Star Wars?
Star Wars.
Star Wars, then DC, then Marvel.
Yeah, I think Star Wars has just had so much time to cook. You know what I mean? So much time to cook. And Liz says, the gentleman that played Jar Jar Binks almost killed himself because of the fan base. The kid that played Anakin in the prequels also had issues because of the fans. I'm surprised Daisy isn't doing another movie, to be honest. Actually, Rose is the one that got the most recently, and then Reva from
yeah, bro. I'm telling you, bro, like that's toxicity, bro. That's not, there's no other way to address that. Like what they did to that girl from the Obi-Wan show is disgusting.
Reva? The Reva character?
Yeah, that's disgusting. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't blame the director. You can't blame Star Wars for that. It's the toxic fucking fan base that does that.
Yeah.
Okay. What I don't understand is if they are taking so many swings at so many different series, you got Kenobi, you got what is it? You got
Mandalorian,
Mandalorian. Yeah, you got all of these. Like, there's certain hitters that are actually making it and they're making a splash, but yet they want to take so many swings. Like, fucking stop all the production of all these other ones and focus on the ones that are actually hitting homers. Like, like focus on those, do the best you can on those before you start making a splash somewhere else. Like, everybody wants to see Mando and Boba Fett, more of that. They're enjoying that show. They love it. And they're spending hundreds, like you guys just said, millions of dollars, and you can't even see the production of, like, oh, okay, yeah, they did use that money. Look at the background, look at the whatever the fuck, just to make a difference. You couldn't even tell that it was 100 years before, and yet you're telling me that they spent all this fucking money. Dude, why waste that on something that might actually hit, as opposed to just spending it on something that's already hitting now? And just pay the actors and say, hey, we need to do this. Let's wrap this up. People are in dire need. They want more. Let's give them more of this. Mm-hmm. And then later on, when you perfect those other fucking storylines, go back with the money and the revenue that you made from the big hitters. Then you can go and play around with that fucking money. But for right now, just stick with what's hitting. Like, they're always bitching, like, oh, we're losing a lot of money. How are we going to recuperate all this shit? But yet they want to make so many fucking projects. I don't get it. Like, just stay with the ones that are hitting.
I'm not disappointed with some of these projects. Like, some of these projects should have smacked. The Obi-Wan Kenobi show, that should have been the easy home run.
That was a no-brainer, man.
That should have been the easy home run. What else?
Boba Fett.
Boba Fett should have been
that
another
already
one.
had a huge fan base.
Another one that should have been that was a layup, dude. That was a layup.
Ahsoka is probably the worst Disney Plus show, and everyone hated it, but it's like one of the most beloved characters in the animated series.
They are just not executing. I don't think it's a problem of them having too many projects. They're just not executing. They're
not getting them right.
They're not getting them right, dude. Like, these are easy layups. Like, things that people should be running to fucking any social media saying, holy shit, this is the best thing I've ever saw in my fucking life, and they're just not executing.
Look, I'm my biggest concern about the Acolyte show is, look, when we first saw that weird trailer with the fucking dude on the X-Wing, remember, with the fucking Acolytes? Remember that big ass trailer?
That was a fan
made. Holy fuck, dude. We were like, holy shit. Just excited on just visuals with no fucking words. Just visuals, no words. We were super fucking stoked. And then they come out and they're like, oh, it's about this, it's about that, and all this stuff. And my biggest concern is what Brian made a really good comment earlier, is that Disney has hired people that should not be in those positions to come in and get themselves into this. And they're shoehorning all of this like weird stuff into an IP that there's no reason it should be slacking this hard. That's literally what it is. So, like, my biggest thing and my biggest issue with when the show was going to pop off, like a month ago and a month and a half ago, and we were hearing more about it, was that these people were going to shoehorn the idea of all of this stuff, like the wokeism and all of that stuff. They were going to be like, well, now we got IP from 100 years before that, so we could switch everything around, and you can't say shit because we're creating the history that then creates the last Star Wars movies, even before the old movies. Like, we're going to write that history, and it's going to be set in stone that this is the way the universe goes because we're going to say it. And that was my biggest concern, is that we have a bunch of people that want to change the IP that weren't fans of the original stuff, that they had no investment in the original Star Wars IP. And they want to come in now because they're sitting on those positions, and they're like, well, fuck yeah, I want to improve it because I can improve it. And like that Lily has, I don't even know her name, the director chick, she hasn't done shit. Like, masterpiece wise, to be able to write Star Wars as a story, to be able to go that far and be like, hey, you know what? We'd really like you to write the history of Star Wars. Like, you would see like Francis Ford Coppola, Steven Spielberg, someone else taking that. But they gave it to this chick who has nothing in her resume that says that she can even do this right.
But listen, I don't want us to get too far off the deep end here because we're only 2 episodes in. She hasn't changed anything yet. Yeah. We don't know what this looks like at the end of it. So before we start casting things about it, let's just see how this plays out. I don't think she's gonna change the fucking course of Star Wars. I don't think this show that no one's really gonna fucking watch is gonna do that. I don't think they're gonna do that here. I think that they may introduce some ideas that some people may not like, but I don't think they're going to single-handedly destroy fucking Star Wars. I don't think that's gonna happen.
The thing is, I don't fucking understand. And obviously, I'm a nobody. I'm just a fucking tiny little fish. But what I don't understand from a business aspect of this is if you have for sure home run hitters that people want to watch, why aren't you feeding that shit to the people and be getting your get the revenue from there, and then start these projects that you want to start later on, as opposed to just, oh, we're gonna start this project, and they're just spreading the money everywhere.
They're thinning it out, man.
The thing is I think Elizabeth touched on it right there with her last comment. She said there's too many cooks in the Star Wars kitchen. It's part of the problem. Yep. Too many people making decisions, and you're speaking from a point, from a business aspect, is that they're working at Disney here. Like, let's not forget that. They got to make they got to make money. They have to appeal to as many. See, back in the day with Star Wars, they only had to appeal to a certain fucking demographic, period, right? And it just so happens that demographic exploded into this fucking mutated shit that it is now, and Disney is asked to make money off of it, which is, again, I think kind of a catch-22. So I kind of want to shoot a little bail when you're saying, like, why not just give it to the people? Because I don't think they know what the fuck the people want at this point. Like, they're just lost. They don't know,
because we don't even know what we want anymore.
Exactly. And so it's kind of hard to ask Star Wars or Disney to give us what we want when we don't even know what the fuck we want, dude. Because half of us wants this, a quarter of us wants this, another third of us wants this. Like, we don't know how to get on board and directly say, hey, this is what we want. But what we do know how to say is something that we don't want. Like, that's very vocal. So, like, it's kind of hard. That's the reason why I think Star Wars just needs a timeout. But, like, they need a pause.
Yeah, they need to
chill the fuck out. Yep, they need to chill the fuck out. Let all of this shit die down. Listen, you motherfuckers got so much to say. Why don't you miss us for the next 5 years? Yeah. Why don't you get nothing now for the next 5 years? We'll sit on it. We'll take whatever hit, whatever we had in production. We'll put a halt to that shit. We'll put a cap on that, and we'll come back to us in 5 years.
And I'm 100% behind that. They want to take a break. They can take a fucking break. They took a 5 years break. They'd be doing me a favor, man. They'd be doing me a favor. Let DC come back in that big ass emptiness. Let them fuck up.
Yeah. Why don't you guys go complain about fucking?
Yeah, we can't complain about DC right now. Yeah, we can't. Actually, we could just be like, wow, we hope they bring something soon.
No, but because that's what it is. They were smart. They said, you know what? Fuck y'all. Yeah. Fuck you. You're not getting anything. We were gonna give you the Batgirl, but now you're not getting none of that shit. We spent too much fucking money. You're not getting nothing. Period. We're gonna give you this James Gunn shit in whatever couple years, and then that's when you guys get fed. But until then,
it.
You guys get nothing.
You guys are done. Deal with them. Deal with James Gunn.
Yeah. Deal with them, bro.
Look, honestly, you do have a point, because if you stop and think about it, from the originals all the way to episode 1 when it first got released, it was a fucking huge gap. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, when it made that huge comeback, it made a splash because everybody was fucking hungry and starving for more. You know, so in reality, it could actually help them and benefit them to say, you know what, we're just going to give them these certain little projects, and that's it. We're just going to hold. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then just hold it for a few years, and then we're going to make a splash again. And hopefully it wakes and gets everybody more hungry, that they want more Star Wars. Like, you know, so I don't know, man. It's just, you're right though. Elizabeth did make a point there, but it's just, it doesn't make fucking sense for them to be bitching that they're losing so much money, but yet they're all over the place. It's like they can't focus on one particular thing and start there.
We're in uncharted territories when it comes to Star Wars. Yeah. Ever since the sequels started, they haven't stopped. Normally, they'll give you a 3-banger, and then they'll chill. For like the next 10 years. But ever since the sequels, they've been non-stop.
Yeah, they haven't stopped. They see that Marvel money.
Yeah, they have not stopped making product and stopped making content. So, yeah, at this point, people are tired. They're confused. They're pissed. They're toxic.
Yeah. And not only that, like even going back to it, like even when they took that break and came back for the prequels, like people still shit on the prequels.
Yeah.
People still shit on the prequels, man. They still shit on them. And I'm not even talking about the Jar Jar Binks guy, right? Ahmed Best. I'm not even talking about his life. Cause like, of course, that was like a whole fucking dude just got shit on like completely because they wrote his character to be like a comical part that they weren't prepared because they expected it to be like something super serious, because in the whole action of the prequels, everything was all political. And when you go back to the original Star Wars, it was just an action adventure. It was like Indiana Jones in space. So like to see that difference in storytelling, people fucking freak the fuck out. And like right now, you go back and the prequels, they're masterpieces, dude. They're so fucking good. I mean, in fact, if you think about it, like me, I was an original Star Wars kid, like the last of it. But like Brian, I think you said that you became a fan during the prequels. So we come from two different eras of Star Wars. You know what I mean? And the same stuff, like the love of Star Wars is still there, but like the way you see Star Wars is that political nature. Where I see Star Wars, it's just about the adventure.
And
when
that's what I'm saying. That's the generational gap that you're trying to adapt to. You're trying to bridge. You're trying to bridge all of these generations because, I was aware. I've actually saw all of the trilogy, the originals, like as a kid, but it didn't resonate with me when the prequels dropped. I was like a teenager, so now I'm starting to really grasp what the fuck is going on, and I'm able to submerge myself into this world into this universe and have more of appreciation. So that's the reason why the prequels will always be dope to me, no matter how bad people hate them or whatever. But that's when I started, like, that was my introduction. And then now with the sequels, you have an even younger generation that are trying to get into it, that are getting into it at that time when I got into the prequels. And so you're trying to bridge all of this at once, and it's impossible. You're not gonna do it. You're not gonna be able to do it.
So going back, so that way we can end the show out. Brian, you're the only one other than myself that has seen the show.
Yeah.
First 2 episodes, what would you casually rate them going into the third? We're not really sure what the third's all about yet, or whatever the whole show's about. We just know it's a revenge story. For what we got, recommend, don't recommend? Like,
I highly recommend. The acting alone is really good. The fight scenes, although they are pretty short, they're really good. I would just like a little bit more of the world building with, the 100-year, gap. I think there could have been a little bit more done with the world building there. But other than that, I totally recommend it. I'd probably give it like an 8. For the first 2 episodes, they're pretty good.
Okay. For me, I think it's in the same format. I think we don't really have enough to really make judgment. The first 2 episodes, they were okay. They weren't like, fucking like wowed out or something that was completely shit. We walk right into like this crazy action scene, but there are some things that you'll probably end up asking questions about. But rating wise, I'd give it like a 7 high, low 8 maybe. It's up there. It's fun. It's Star Wars again. Brian, of course, hit it right on the button. You know what I mean? Like, it's Star Wars.
It's Star Wars. Yeah, it's Star Wars.
Like, it's Star Wars. Like, there's really nothing you can say about it. Like, if you were to go off based on these 2 episodes or whatever, it's very much like in Solo, or actually not Solo, when in the last movies, when they hook up with Han and they go to that universe where the chick that has that weird helmet.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that part? Yeah. It's like that part. Like you end up finding out that there's like some kind of weird history there. This chick's like, whatever, Solo, you're a piece of shit, and then saves him later. And you're like, wait, what the fuck just happened? And then they take off and they never she shows up at the last part. Like these 2 episodes are very much like that. There's a lot of jumble everywhere, but you just don't know what's up yet. You understand that some people are connected. Some people know each other. Some people don't know each other. Some people have some type of relationship connection. Some people are very stoic, which is like Carrie-Anne Moss's character at the beginning, kind of sitting there like a nun, chilling out. Hello, my son or my daughter or my child or whatever. Like very high and mighty. But there's just, I don't feel like we've gotten enough to really be like, yo, this is a shit show or it's not. For what it's worth.
What are you going to give it a rating?
I think like a 7.5.
Got it.
Like 7.5. It's not too bad. It's not like literally right now you can watch it and be like, oh, okay, it's Star Wars. But like, Nico, of course, like
I wanted to ask Nico really quick. Do you plan on watching it, and if so, are you excited to watch it after our fumbling about this review?
Fumbling.
All right. First off, no, I'm not excited about it. It didn't pump me up. I didn't get excited. Just listening to what you guys are saying, it seems mediocre. It seems all right. I'm reading the comments over here. I'm cracking up with Elizabeth. Vince, if Vince is right, I'd rather watch that than Madam Web. So I guess I'll give it a shot.
True. So, the 2 episodes are better than Madam Web.
Okay, well then there you go. That's basically all I needed to. You guys could have saved yourself so many minutes of just bullshitting, and you could have just said it's better than Madam Web. I would have been, okay.
But that's the thing. Everything's better than Madam Web. Like everything is better than Madam Web. That movie just should not have been made. That movie should not have been made. But yeah. So Nico, let the people know where we can find you. What's going on in your life?
Oh, okay. So yeah, you can find me on Facebook. It's just Nico NYKO. My profile picture is Scrooge McDuck.
Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah, dude. Gotta make that money. Gotta hustle.
Yeah. So if you guys want to hit him up, guys, you make sure hit up Nico online, Nico Cantu, Facebook. Yeah. Don't forget, he's always with us. And if not, he'll be joining David when he does. Right now, David from Adam Collections is doing pre-recording because he's working on his days right now. He's working his schedule out, but he's been doing some pre-recordings. I did his first episode with him the other day. So guys, look out for that too. And don't forget, I think Chuanu said June 27th? June 27th, they're going to have Carlos Ferro, which is the voice actor for Dom from Gears of War, and they just dropped the E-Day. We didn't get to talk about it much. We'll cover it the next time. But Brian, what about you, brother? How you been doing? And where can we find you? Where can we see you more? I know that you just did, you talked about D earlier, so
yeah.
Are you guys on something?
So we were on the call the other day. He's getting his living situation correct. And yeah, man, look forward to it. We're gonna have some stuff for you in the very near future.
Excellent. So when that pops off, we'll make sure we guys give you dates, and that way you guys get times.
Yeah.
So that way you guys can check out the other podcasts. They run the Gym Class Majors podcast. Is gonna say the same.
Yeah, it's gonna stay the same. If you guys don't mind watching, one stoner and one funny guy just talk wrestling and all types of political and conspiracy theories and all that shit, come join us.
It's perfect. Especially with the dichotomy of what the world's going through right now, politics wise. Like, I guarantee that's gonna pop the fuck off,
dude. If you guys talk about wrestling, I want in on that.
Yeah, we're two big wrestling guys that we used to do wrestling breakdowns, and that list that I was talking about earlier, that's one of our shows. We get into it. Yeah, so absolutely.
Look, this is how crazy it is. D once brought me on a podcast with the Duke the Dumpster Drosy, who was a wrestler back in like the 80s and 90s. He was a small role character, right? But still, I remember seeing him, and I remember being like, "Oh, that's that dude." He would come out and he'd be like just like one of the traveling wrestler guys that would just do the shows, kind of like the Spike Dudley kind of character. He'd come in and just push the story for certain characters, like you were talking about, like the supporting wrestler characters. But he's just such a good guy. We had such a great show with him once, and then me and Brian and D did a show with Promise Braxton, right?
Yep.
And she's a G right now, man. She's been all over the circuit doing amazing stuff.
She's studying under Booker T. So Booker T is like her mentor. So she's a pretty big. I think she's in Japan right now, or she might be in between. But she's a badass.
Yeah, she's a fucking huge badass, dude. She puts in the work. In the work. So.
Hey, just out of curiosity, if we have connections to, I'm not gonna say like huge celebrities, but like if we have connections with celebrities, but it would be a Spanish celebrity, would you guys be interested in something like that? Because the thing is, we personally have connections with Pentagon Jr.
Oh, out of AAA.
Yeah,
Pentagon
from AAA and AEW. So we have connections with him, and obviously he would need a translator. We would have to translate for him and stuff like that.
Yeah, because
would that be something you guys would be into, or like?
Yeah, that would be cool. I mean, I know that Brian, did you ever get to talk to that Rosa girl? Did you ever get to do a show with her yet? The one that D did, the one that paints her face.
Oh yeah. Rosa.
Rosa.
No, so I haven't spoken to her. D's like good. He's like friends with her. Like
that's so cool.
To her. Yeah, he talks to her. So so Thunder Rosa is definitely always available to me. Just by getting through to D. But he was really big into Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa had a promotion down where you guys were. I don't think it's still going.
Well, she still wrestles. I saw her wrestling with Cherry Popper the other day.
She still wrestles, but I don't think her promotion is still in the works. But he did all the interviews with all of the people in that promotion. So yeah, like he has connections with a lot of people. He did the interview with I don't know if you know the interviewer Chris Van Vliet. He interviewed him. He interviewed a lot of people. So yeah, we have if you guys want, and we always have that at the disposal as well.
Yeah, because the last time we had Thunder Rosa, or actually like talked to her, man, this has been years. It's like 2017, 18 that the last time we spoke to her. It's been years. Like,
yeah, I went when the last time I was out there. The last time I was out there to go visit, and I met up with Chris and everybody.
Took him to Chili's.
We took me to the infamous.
Could take him
Chili's.
Anywhere else, but I meant to Chili's.
But I got my Chili's fix. You know what I'm saying? While we were out there, we went to the promotion for Thunder Rosa, and it was a pretty good promotion.
You took him to Chili's, bro.
Don't listen, guys. Listen, we don't have to reopen the scab. We don't have to do this right now,
bro. You're in the valley, bro. The home of Mexican food, and this fucker takes you to Chili's.
It's funny because the whole point of meeting Chris that day was because me and D, we were going to start our podcast.
Yeah.
And so we had Chris at our disposal while we were out there. We wanted to have like a kind of like a sit down and stuff, like a sit down and just pick his brain. So I didn't care where they took me. So I just happily got my ass in the car and went to Chili's. But then afterwards, I'm like, yo,
could have gone anywhere else.
We could have went anywhere in the world, and we had to sit down at a fucking Chili's, bro. I don't even think I ate. I just drank. I was just sitting there getting my drink on and shit, like just asking them questions. Like I wasn't sitting there to fucking eat appetizers,
I mean,
bro.
My defense in that situation was it was the closest thing to my house. Like the closest restaurant. So, but I told Brian,
it was funny. D was like, why the fuck we going all the way out there? I'm like, yo, that's where he said to meet us, bro. Like, let's just go. Like, we're not in a position. Yeah, we're not in a position to negotiate. We meet this guy, bro. Like, we gotta meet. He says we go to Chili's. We go to fucking Chili's, bro. You want
like a Scarface moment? Bro? Hey, dude, Crispy says to go, you go.
You gotta go, bro. Like, what the fuck?
But I already told Brian, I told him next time that he comes down, I'm going to make it up to him 100%. So I'm going to take him to all the cool places and he has to eat all the cool food. Like, and there's no, like, I'm full, Chris, stop. I'm going to be like, no, we're going to the next one right now.
Yeah, I'm not hearing this shit ever again. I'm going to put it in
30 pounds, dude.
Once and for all. Yeah.
That's going to be good. But, guys, I want to say thank you very much for joining me. Nico, thank you very much for coming in. And Brian, it's such a pleasure to have you. I know you're always working and you're going to do stuff. It's like, man, Trigger, dude. We haven't seen Trigger in a million years already, too.
We'll get him out. We'll get him eventually.
Yeah, bro, I'm like late by like an hour and a half.
Straight. I don't even know what you're gonna do. I just feel bad, dude. I mean, I hope you don't like need to go shit or something. I hope you guys. I hope it's not something like on the schedule. But guys, I want to say thank you very much to all our extraordinary listeners. We appreciate every one of you. Thank you for tuning in with us and always supporting the show. Don't forget, every Sunday here on the Average Boys podcast, we are here 8 p.m. Sunday nights live to get ready for the week and give you guys your dose of nerd news. And yeah. That's about it. Stay safe. It's really, really hot outside. Make sure you carry a water bottle, stay hydrated, and hopefully we see you guys soon. We'll see you guys again here next Saturday. Peace.